Good evening, everybody. Tonight we will go deep into the realm of the unknown and question everything as we search for the truth. We will explore the possibility of countless phenomena within the ultra spectrum, and together we will learn that it is all connected. This podcast is brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association, and it is a live stream broadcast. If you have a question, send me a super chat or become a YouTube member. This podcast is brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. Take a seat, relax, get ready, and welcome to Beyond the Tinfoil Hat.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. Today is Thursday, July 21st, 2022, and I, Ryan Stacey, am your host this evening. I'm a licensed private investigator, a citizen journalist, and the Director of Investigations for the Experiencers Support Association. I'm also the former National Chief Investigator for MUFON Canada and the former International Field Investigator Trainer for MUFON in general. Welcome to the channel, and thank you for joining us this evening. Remember to super chat, click the dollar sign next to your name in the comment box, and if you're on Rockfin, please send us a tip. Greatly appreciated. Tonight's theme is current anomalies, events, and news. Our guest for season 4, episode number 25, is Aliengirl111, also known as Amy. Amy is the host of the YouTube channel Aliengirl111, a channel dedicated to surveying current events and people in the UFO community. Amy goes live every morning, Monday through Friday, at 5 a.m. Mountain Standard Time and 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, with her daily show, Good Morning UFO. I like that title. She has a master's degree in library and information science, specializing in college-level research, and lives in New Mexico in the United States of America, which is the heart of alien country. Aliengirl111 has interviewed many people in the UFO disclosure movement, including Alex Dietrich, Erica Lukes, Anjali, Rich Giordano, Michael Schratt, Cristina Gomez, and more. You can find all her links in the banner below, as well as in the description. And she has a link tree. So linktr.ee/aliengirl111. So Amy, put on your tinfoil hat. We're about to go down a rabbit hole. How you doing?
Good to see you. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Awesome. So before we got in here, you said you were like super nervous. You want to tell me why?
Yes.
You want to tell them what you told me?
I'll tell them. It's because of them.
Icebreaker.
It's because of them. The energy, I just tend to be very sensitive to it. So when there's lots of especially just the live chat phenomenon, if you want to talk about phenomena, I don't know but I just said that. I think there's a lot of psychic energy associated with the network of things that we're all working on as a community. So when I go live, all the time, from the first time I went live, and there was only a person in the chat, and it was Renee Cruz. Renee, if you're here, what's up? But that was a big moment, just to be able to connect with people. And the longer I do it, the more people I connect with. And it's an expansive experience that I'm incredibly grateful for. So that's why I get a little nervous. But now that we're live and we're doing it, I'm excited and I'm in the moment.
Perfect. Good. All right. So we're going to start with the, you got nothing to worry about. So we're going to start with the icebreaker question from CC. So let me just play the jingle here 1 second. All right. So Cece asks, in your opinion, what UFO event offers the most compelling evidence of this phenomenon and why? Good question.
Okay. Which UFO event has the most compelling evidence? I think that question gets harder the longer you study this and the longer you get into it. Because if you said 2 or 3 years ago to me, if you asked me, and I guess I will stick to this answer. I do believe it to be the Phoenix Lights for me.
Okay. So why?
I don't want to discount the thousands of people who saw it. Nor Governor Fife, right? Was he governor? Or was he was governor? Fife. He was the one who was the politician who ridiculed the people of Phoenix when they said they saw something. And he came out and said he saw something.
Mm-hmm.
High-ranking authority figure in the community denied it, ridiculed it, then admitted it. It's compelling. Is the evidence there? Yes. If you count eyewitness accounts.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great book called The Science of Ufology. I've lost it. Or I gave it to someone. It's gone now. But it proves how you can use science to prove UFOs. Because there is science that you can follow. One of them is when multiple people see a UFO. If more than one person sees a specific UFO, it becomes more and more like important to talk about and for people to actually. So there was tons of footage of the Phoenix lights, tons of citizens, not just drunks in the street. It was people running the society of Phoenix. So if we want to say that, okay, you know, the Phoenix politicians are dumb and they don't know what they're talking about, but let's keep letting them lead. And like, if we're going to talk about how eyewitness testimony has no value of evidence, why don't we just throw the veterans in there too? Why don't we just start ridiculing them? That'd be great. Because now it's illegal to do that in our government organizations. So I know the Phoenix Lights may not have the most evidence, but from what I know of what I've heard about that and what I've heard people talk about and say that they've seen, it's one of those things. And I'm at the point now where I've been looking over it and come across so many things that like I'm willing to say I don't know about everything. Like I don't know about the Phoenix Lights. I want to continue to be open-minded. But where did I stop with researching the Phoenix Lights? Really, I think I've tried to grab onto every piece of evidence associated with it when I really think about it. Like everything I could find. It's kind of like, you know, timelines. I know the timelines are off for some people in terms of when he made the call to, you know, I don't know. So I don't know. That's the one that gets me. And it's just so annoying that we can't find more evidence for it. Like actual scientific evidence. That's the one who's pushed away. They're like, oh, those thousands of people didn't know what they were talking about. And it's like, I don't think that's right. And you get people, it's a DMT bomb.
Well, like there's to piggyback off of that, like, I mean, normally I would say my answer to that would be there's nothing compelling, but but hearing your explanation and your breakdown of the evidence and understanding evidence, I appreciate that, because there's evidence. It's evidence of what? Evidence is, and we were talking about evidence before we got on the show too, is it's subjective too. Like, evidence of what? Everything is evidence, but evidence of what? So there's circumstantial evidence, there's hearsay evidence, there's testimonial evidence, there's documented evidence. So there, with Phoenix Lights, I'm not too familiar with how the case has broken down. I'm familiar with it enough to acknowledge that that is a significant event. Being Canadian, you would be the expert on that more than I will. So I'm not going to pretend I know more about the Phoenix Light than you do. But looking at the fact that there's more than one person from a variance of backgrounds and degrees and all these other things reporting certain things in the same times, which would suggest that something happened. So regardless of the opinions and all these other things and the timeline and evidence not lining up, there's the human element. So there's evidence of something happening. So has there ever been a debunk? Has anyone ever tried to identify it, or does it remain unidentified?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah. You researched it.
Theory number one is flares.
Yeah. Is there any evidence to support that it's flares?
Yes, that's been reported.
Okay. Just testimony evidence or physical evidence?
confirmation from the government that the Air Force dropped failures. Okay.
So then,
so right, that was one theory. Another theory is just that the timelines are off for specific times when things were called in. That's the other debunk I've heard.
But what does that prove? The information was wrong. That doesn't debunk that the event had happened. It just means the timing's wrong.
Right. That's how I felt about the debunk too. I'm just grasping at that point, honestly. What about you? What do you think some good debunks are of the Phoenix Lights?
Well, I've heard the flares. The fact that government confirmation, that's up there in terms of significant evidence, because that's the closest thing we can get. The problem we have after that is whether or not we can trust it. So the government comes out, it tells us that that they are government flares. It was a military operation. Do you trust that?
You asking? Sorry.
Yeah.
Are you asking me if I trust that?
Do you trust that answer from your United States government?
I personally think humans are so dumb that I don't think the government's smart enough to tell me. I think it's better if I go find the smartest people I know, talk to them.
What I'm saying is they provided an answer. The government provided an answer, correct?
Yes.
Right. So do you trust that answer from your government is what I'm asking you.
No, the government has made, like I said, they're just too dumb. So like they could say it is, it isn't. They could blame it on being dumb. They could blame it on being admin. They could blame it on all sorts of different issues. There's so many issues. There's so many dysfunctional issues in organizations all the time. It's not that I don't trust the government. I don't trust how humans can organize things. So I guess you could say, no, I don't trust the government. I don't trust any organization if I don't see through how they're operating it. And I don't know how the U.S. government's being operated if I look in terms of the money that's being put into the black budget.
So is it still possible that it might be true, even though you have valid reasons not to trust the government?
Sure, why not?
Right. So then case closed? Or
no,
it's still UFO? Because you have belief?
Because the number... Okay.
What do you believe happened?
You are inquisitive.
Hey, you wanted a challenge.
So I've got an answer for everything,
yeah.
Ryan.
All right.
Okay. When I went to the UFO Disclosure Symposium in Vernal, Utah, there was a debate between Jaime Maussan, a very prominent in all the Spanish-speaking countries in the world ufologist. A lot of people... I mean, they found some things on him that were not right, but that happened that weren't real or whatever. We could get into that if you like, but we won't. Point is, a lot of people say he's fraud, right? Stuff he puts out there ain't real. He knows it, right? Subjective. Does he know it or does he believe it's real? Who knows? Then we got Avi Loeb on the other side of this debate. Avi Loeb on the other side of the debate. And Jaime Maussan in this big symposium, we're watching them talk, and it's open question time. Jaime Maussan walks up with somebody who introduces him, so they're like, "This is who this guy is to ask you a question." This is open question time, and basically what their conversation was about was that testimony. Even Avi Loeb said, "Well, yeah, testimony matters." And what matters isn't what the testimonies are so much. It matters the number of testimonies is quantifiable. It's a quantifiable number. It's just like a survey. You take surveys for psychology. You fill in some bubbles. That's quantifiable to say, how do you feel on a scale of 0 to 10 today when you took this medication? That's quantifiable. That's a survey in some ways. Right? Like that's a number that you could put into an academic study, into all sorts of different things. So what makes the Phoenix Lights compelling is the amount of people who saw it, who would have said that, and there's a lot of people who saw it. It's a lot of people who saw it. Same with Chicago O'Hare. But I was looking at O'Hare, Josh and Artemis were ripping it apart the other day, but that one's still compelling to me because of the people, I don't know. It's all so hard, but at the end, I don't know, Ryan.
But see, this is where you're not alone, because just as much as there's multiple witnesses, there's multiple beliefs, whether or not they accept that same truth from the same government. And you wouldn't be the only person in the world to think that the government is withholding information or lying. And then, but the problem is there's so many UFO events with different variants of information. Roswell is another example, all these other things, that's closer to home. We get various bits and pieces of all these different events, but like, is it not possible that they're telling the truth sometimes?
The government's telling the truth sometimes?
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Yeah, of course. I mean, they have to, at least sometimes.
About the Phoenix Lights, though, them being flared.
I just don't think people are that smart to create an organization that smart to actually dupe people that way. I think it's one person telling another about the flares. We don't know who's on top. Mm-hmm. We don't know who's on top. Mm-hmm. We don't.
It's interesting. So we can stack the testimony evidence, and then we all come to a conclusion, and we all have a belief, and we share that belief. But are we right, or any different? See, there's a reason why I'm asking these questions. Like, there's a little psychological game here, is just to show that we need more evidence. We need better evidence in period, in general.
Oh, of course. So there's been a transition though that's happened.
Okay, tell me about that.
That's huge. It happened when all the hugest transition, I would say, was probably the New York Times 2019. That was a big moment. But more than anything, I would say April of 2020 really hit. And that's kind of like, before that, if there was footage that was questionable, or like a YouTube video that looked really cool, as UFO, and it got like 27 million views, all of us UFO folk would be like, awesome! Because before then, it wasn't real like it is now. So we started these fanships, right? Like, I've been watching Third Phase of Moon for 10 years, something like that. I've been watching all these shows like Alien Addict. Goodness, I could go on and on. Linda Moulton Howe. All these shows for years and years and years. And I love it. That's why I love Linda. She's like, there's an alien, right? Pre-April 2020, it didn't matter. Didn't matter that I liked listening to Linda Moulton Howe talk about the Venusians. Didn't matter if I got into it. This was all wacky stuff. Who cares? I'll listen to Corey Good for 20 hours. This is entertaining. It was so wild. Then that moment happened, right? April of 2020. And people had to get real about it. But we still have all these other UFO celebrities, right? And Avi Loeb came after April of 2020. He published Extraterrestrial by Avi Loeb after that time. Okay, so Avi Loeb is like post that time. All those other like UFO celebs early on, like, I don't know if it was Dolan or Nick Pope or somebody, I don't know, but they were saying that like birds could be extraterrestrial spies, and like the things that they come up with, and you're like, that was cool, like post, before April of 2020, that made sense. Why not? Let's take a wild ride. Mm-hmm. But now we're actually being told this is happening. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it's unnerving on some level. And you're like, you don't say that an F-16 pilot doesn't know what they're talking about when they tell you they see something in the sky. That's just straight up disrespectful. Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, is even as knowledgeable as these experts are, or what key witnesses are, they're simply testifying that with all their experience, they're observing things that aren't familiar to them with their training. It doesn't necessarily mean extraterrestrial. However, we're always thinking that UFO, unidentified flying object, means aliens. So how many, you've interviewed Dietrich. Does she, where does she lie on that? Does she think they're aliens, or she just doesn't know what it is?
She's, she doesn't know what they are.
Yeah. And it could be, I was going to say Russian adversaries.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but,
Chinese, Russian.
It's all possibilities. And then so the fear and the problem that I have is that there's still no answers. So even I would accept it being Russia if they could tell us that. I would accept it being aliens if they tell. Oh, I don't think I would actually accept that. But I mean, like, they're not telling us anything. So what they're doing is they're building up, all these units and departments in order to start their own studies and collect data and starting fresh again. Because the old data, even though the hard work that everyone has put in, MUFON included, whether you like them or hate them, there's data there.
I like them.
Good. But it can't be used because they have to start their own investigation. They need to collect their own data. They need to collect their own, and do their own studies on it. So that being the government, the top of the line, the best of the best, as they're supposed to be. Once they collect their studies and they get enough information in, that's if enough people trust them to report to them. What do you think they're going to conclude with?
Oh, but they don't know. Again.
And then
that's why I'm into this.
Yeah, and
that's why I keep researching it and I keep digging it and I keep trying to find more. I want to know first.
Well, somebody has to know. Somebody has to know.
Right. And I'm going to go find him and I'm going to talk to him and I'll be telling you insider information one day. Yeah, that's what I'm doing here, man. I'm putting my feelers out. I'm meeting them all. Now I'm going to find the one. And you're right. You got to find him. And that's what I'm on. I'm on to it.
Well, they'll find you.
I can see it.
They'll find you, right? They got to trust you and come forward and talk, and then you'll be able to share their story. But then that's third party. So, it's third-hand information, and that's why you need the experiencer to come forward and give that testimony. So let's using Dietrich as an example. She's technically an experiencer because she experienced something. Same with Fravor. He's an experiencer too. Why can't we just believe that they experienced something and we don't know what it is and now we're looking into it? Why is there this need to pick this apart? Why is there this need to attack them as individuals, this disbelief, when they could be telling the truth? What do you think that's all about?
Oh, I think it's a lot to have your belief system shaken up. Mm-hmm. You have to be into it. You have to be ready for it. Not everybody's totally ready to have their reality changed upside down. We have so many things on our shoulder, all of us, every day. We have to figure out a way to survive, how to keep ourselves happy, all the things we struggle with, reach our dreams, try to freaking find the reason to be alive. Like all these things are really, really hard. So we find ways to keep that going and to be happy in life. And the older you get, it's like, I just don't need anybody messing with it. If Jesus is what gets me through it, Jesus is what gets me through it. It's believing that I have a cosmic family that's ready to meet me. It's going to get me through it. It's going to get me through it. Whatever it is that gets you through it. But I think that's important. Everybody has that. So when you challenge that with something like, dude, you see the UFOs on the news, man? And they're like, they love Jesus more than anything. UFOs don't exist. When you challenge that, they got to be pretty cool. They got to be ready for, just like I learned day after being in this field, I need to be ready. And having the truth unveiled to you is so sobering, so humble, so great. If you're into that kind of thing, some people don't want that. They want to wake up. They want to just, take care of their kids, have a good day, laugh with their family, hang out with their friends, be happy today. I got a roof over my head. I got all this cool stuff going on. Why do I need to shake everything up with aliens? Today I lived a good day. And I also think that aliens in some way is a fantasy for a lot of people too. It's not an immediate threat right now. Right now, I think the general public is taking the stuff that the government says and they're just processing it like this. It's probably Chinese. It's probably Russian. But I think people are faced with ridicule, just to circle back, is because they're just trying to get through the day, man. You're trying to dig a hole and someone says, "Oh, I know."
So it's actually our fault that we can't get the answers because of all the things that we're doing when the truth may have been given. And because the truth was given, this is how we respond. So perhaps disclosure may happen if we change and we start, more of us start to accept it, because you're right, because a lot of people will be affected by it. Religion will crumble. If it hasn't already. It's been a while since anything organized has been running. Stocks are falling. There's so many different things going on just because of the possibility and ideas of all these other things. And if the answer is going to come out, we have to react at least in a favorable way. Do they want us to be negative? Maybe that's part of the job. Maybe they want us to kill each other over it. Or do they want us to be happy about it and accept it? Because if they do exist, my observation shows that someone might try to capture it and kill it. So as a defense mechanism, they probably don't want to come forward and say, hey, which is probably why we can't find Bigfoot, because there's hunters out there, survival of the fittest and all these other things too. So the problem I see is us. And and we're all trying to solve it. Yourself, citizen science, citizen research. So to lead into, that was a really long, extended icebreaker question, CC. Thank you for that. So what I'm bringing into is the first question I usually ask, which is, why are you the way that you are? And so to lead into that, I want you to tell me how you got into this. How did you get here? You're very knowledgeable. You've been studying for a long time, but where did this start for you?
Yeah, it's been awesome to break it down, especially, doing it. It's 2 years, 2 years doing this, 6 months of the morning show. And so I've been able to break it down over the last 2 years in those defining moments, right? Mm-hmm. There are defining moments. And I always my question for people when they come on the show is who recruited you? Who is your recruiter? Right? Who recruited you into this stuff? And I was recruited when I was I want to say 12, but I think it was more 8. But I don't want to sound so cool that I was already into it at 8 years old. So we'll just go with 12. But I do think I was 8, 9, 10. And Linda Moulton Howe was on the television talking about the cattle mutilations. And I would say a year before that alien abduction thing came out, the autopsy. And it's a fake and all that stuff that's been confirmed, but it got it going. So that was that's interesting. So, first I had Linda Moulton Howe, then we had that documentary. So then I get a little bit older, then I'm 12 and the Phoenix Lights pops up on the news. And I look at my dad and I'm like, Dad, what do you think that was? He's like, I don't know. I guess they all think it's aliens. And I was like, that was weird. Then I was 16 years old and I went to a presentation by Neil deGrasse Tyson in 2002 before he had written all his New York Times bestsellers. I was able to get in line to talk with him, and there was only a line of 3 people. I didn't have to wait very long to talk to him. And I grew up in New Mexico, Roswell. It's every kid in your class in elementary, middle, high school has an alien head t-shirt, even back in 1992. But it's jokey here. You're like, haha, the aliens. But, then you go to church and you pray. Oh, yeah, well, we're going to go pray now, but it's kind of known. It's all right. And then I met Neil deGrasse Tyson after his talk, and I asked him one question, which is, do you think there's extraterrestrials out there in the world? Because this whole presentation was about extraterrestrials, which is fascinating to me because now he says all this other interesting stuff that's very not as progressive. I met him in 2002 and he looked up at the sky and he put his arms out. He said, of course there is. And that was Neil deGrasse Tyson introduced me to the Drake's equation. Now that I realize it and we're talking about it, I remember the presentation now. He was like, here's why there's probably aliens. And he said, this is the Drake's equation. And he talked about if aliens came down. It was all about aliens. It's not like I came up with this idea. Neil deGrasse Tyson in 2002 presented me a whole presentation about extraterrestrials and how they were possibly real. Take that. So then that was whoa, okay. What's going on here? Then I had a sighting in 2013.
There we go.
So I felt So I had my sighting in 2013.
What'd you see?
And it was, yeah, I'll make it quick. You know how long these can go on for. Triangular formation of lights. It was 10 p.m. at night. And there's a triangular formation of light. I am in like airplanes are over me all the time. Airplanes, helicopters. There's helicopters, like police helicopters. I hear them all the time. Like I know what it's like to be around like this kind of stuff. And it's probably, I want to say like, I don't know. It looks like it's 8 stories above. And yeah, and then like it just goes here and then it goes right in front of me and then it zips up and then it disappears like really quick, no noise, totally silent. Out of bam, gone in a flash, like could not have gone. I don't know what I saw. And my experience was only like 12 seconds. And I used to always say, Amy, you can't just talk about it. But I talked to a lot of experiencers to try to be very supportive. So they're very supportive of me, right? They're like, yes, talk about it, Amy. And I'm like, okay, this is what happened. But talking to experiencers is huge. And when I talked to Alex Dietrich, it was huge for me too. Because my question for her was like, okay, how long did your experience last when you saw this? And it's 10 to 12 seconds is what she said. Yeah. And like that validated for me that like, and it's sad that it has to come to that, like you're talking about with the ridicule, but it's part of like manifestation and self-actualization. And like, I think reaching your spiritual path on some way to like, let go of that kind of stuff to move past your belief systems and things like that. So when she told me that, I was like, wow, that's huge. But that's obvious. It's an interesting circle. 2013 and then like 2020, I was talking to her and she told me she saw it for 13 seconds. So I was like, that's how long mine was. And I see a lot of things and people can say what they want. That's fine. That's fine. They can say what they want. I don't care. I remember trying to tell everybody and they didn't believe me. They didn't believe a word of it. They didn't believe me. Oh, Amy, you're crazy. It's silly. And all you want is attention. And I was like, whoa, like good friends, people I trust. Oh, Amy, it's because your neurons are all messed up because I have epilepsy, which that's not a good, decent excuse because I hadn't had a seizure in a really long time. And actually, I didn't even have epilepsy at that point, believe it or not. It was latent. So it's kind of interesting. So there you go. I didn't even have epilepsy at that point. I was non-epileptic. So that couldn't have even been an excuse, right? I try to think about this. Am I right? Right. Like, and then you meet Alex and she says that. So then I saw it in 2013. I was on YouTube searching. I know I can find exactly what I saw. I've got to be able to find something to match what I saw because I sincerely believed it. So bam, third phase moon every day in the chats, ready for whatever you saw. Because you know why, Ryan? Nothing was available like that pre-April 2020. Nothing. You didn't have any stream of UFO footage that you could watch. You needed somebody to be giving us that information. And it breaks my heart. Because now, after April of 2020, all of these people have put in their heart and soul and their time and their energy into trying to get these UFO footage sightings out. Mm-hmm. They all get crapped on, dude. It's like the longer you're in the field and the more energy you put into it. And I think that's why they're like, you know what? Like Stephen Greer, I'm not going to go on your show unless you have 250,000 subscribers or whatever. Like that's why people just say, I'm done. Like, I've defended myself for freaking 10 years. I'm at the top of my game. Why do I have to prove it to anybody anymore? And I think that's what I've noticed, from people, because it's freaking annoying.
See, with Greer is interesting because he started out a long way too, and then he's earned his place, I guess, in a sense. And then now he's at a point where he can say things like that. But to the character to say that I won't talk to another experiencer and put my message out unless you have a minimum amount of followers, emphasizes or indicates, perhaps suggests that the motive is reach and to take something from that to help field whatever project he's doing, which is monetary and in kind. So any amount of influence, if you're good at what you're doing and you're being introduced to another audience, there's opportunity to make revenue. So if it was the case, so I find it very interesting when they put that criteria into it, because there's also the watching it afterwards, residuals, and all these other things too. So there's a lot of people that are like that. Now, I guess with Elizondo, we'll use him for an example. He is someone who did that and talked to people who had a different number, a lower number of followers. It didn't matter at some point. And then eventually it got to a point where that mattered. There was a picture that I've seen with you and Lou Elizondo. You met him in person.
Yes, I did.
There's a small child there, so I'm assuming yours as well.
Yes, you're welcome. It's 100% mine.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, there's a photo around.
A lot of opinions about. No, it's okay. What I'm getting at is there's a lot of opinions, especially with me and things that I've said on this channel and before and other places too, about Elizondo and how he is then and there and changes and all these other things. I'm still strong on my opinions on the evidence as it's been presented in his character. However, you met him in person, something I have not. So what is he like?
Something a lot of people have not.
Right, and that's important. So what is he like in person?
I just want to start it by saying, I talked with his wife. They're very polite, very open, sitting there doing the grassroots thing, talking with the public. And, it was absolutely fascinating because I did, a little loop and I saw them there and I went and, I do kind of feel like on some level that she was trying to be like, okay, what's this lady like? What's she doing? Who is, so we talked a little bit and I could tell that, Lou was kind of taking his time with the other, and the line was, there was no one there, by the way. I met Lou like that in 5 minutes.
Nice.
Talked to his wife. She was like, so then we talked to him. I really try not to judge people until I know them. So you can hear a lot of things and you can read a lot of things, and it's really easy to make assumptions. So I try not to do that. So I'll just try to stick to what I know. I'll tell you what the conversation was like. So I said, hey, I just want to thank you for going out there and being willing to talk about this. There's a lot of ridicule in our community, obviously, and it's incredibly hard for people to come forward. And I think what you did with Tom DeLonge with the TTSA videos was good because it changed everything and it got the ball rolling on a lot of things. I was genuine and I was honest. He knew who I was. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like arrogant, but they do their research, man. Like Josh and Artemis are my friends, and they got slammed by Lou Elizondo. And Josh and Artemis only had 800 followers or something, like 800 subscribers at the time. And Lou Elizondo had 90,000 Twitter followers.
Yeah, why do you think that mattered to him so much? That such a small amount of people with a negative opinion, yet he felt the need to use his influence to defend himself prior to them announcing it themselves.
Yes.
Why do you think that happened?
Well, I'm just going to tell you how the conversation went. Okay. Because that's what makes this such a great conversation. And then I said, oh, I know you're a secret spy. So I said that next. And he was like, he, yeah, or whatever, we're just fucking around, messing around, whatever. What else is there to say? A secret spy, because he wants to gain our trust. That's a good point that he wants whoever he thinks running the show, whether it be Elizondo or he's working for the government or defense contractors or whatever other theories are out there. We are still each individual humans. He's not just some
and that's the thing they
puppet.
Forget.
You know, like you look. I look for empathy, man.
Mm-hmm.
I look for empathy.
Was it present? Was it present? And
yes.
You can only sense that when you meet them. That's what I'm getting at.
And he had a wife who loved him and was right by his side, making sure everything was cool for him because he can build relationships. And that's what he's really good at. And then that was the other thing. I was like, damn, he's got that skill set. Relationship building.
He does, but he also chooses and selects who he builds those relationships with.
Of course.
So back to the whole I don't trust the government thing. Lou being Lou, working for the government, meeting him, having a little bit of empathy for him. Do you trust Lou?
Like I said, he's a normal person. He's got grandkids. Mm-hmm. He's got a wife. I don't know what his job situation looks like. I don't know.
But do you trust?
I do know he's a human.
The information he's saying, though. Do you trust what he's saying?
I think it's like I think there's a line. Okay, there's a line. Mm-hmm. We love Greer, man. He went out there and he was like, he went to in 2001. He did the Disclosure Project, and he was like everybody's hero, right? We're like, yay, Greer. Right? Like we're really excited about it. And then there's this tipping point where like at the next phase, their career, like it's just like the ones I'm telling you about, like they kind of get a little bit far reaching, and you don't blame them. You're getting into it. When you get into it, you get deeper down on some different rabbit holes other than other ones, so it's not shocking that they start kind of like trying to reach to, like I'm a remote viewer, and Greer's like remote view, not Greer, but we have Elizondo who kind of he quietly talks about remote viewing and how he might be, and alien hybrids, that the hybridization program is always hinted at with him, and as he goes on and on, there's just a lot more like, this is getting to be its own brand. Elizondo's becoming his own name. I think he stands on his own. And if he doesn't, I think he's got a bunch of people standing behind him who know he can do it. So that's what I think. That's what I gathered. It was a very celebrity vibe. I used to work at a TV station, and it was like that, let's put you on camera sort of persona, and so that was fascinating to me because I was like, yeah, man, this is the guy.
It's called being,
guy. Let's hire him.
It's being marketable.
Yes.
Meaning, right? So if he's marketable and people are following the message, can it be trusted? Is it implanted? Is the message true and genuine? Sure, he's a genuine person and that's his job, and he's good at his job. He's good at influencing people, but is his intent to influence a positive truth, or is he intentionally influencing, a lie, which is where Greer, as an example, is saying that he's not telling the truth. Two people doing the same thing.
Yeah,
fighting for
they
the
both
same
got
thing.
Competing brands.
But why? Like, is it a brand? Or yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Right. So the money is affected, which means if Lou has a problem with Greer, it means money is the motive. So if money is the motive for Elizondo, then he's no different than Greer. He's no different than us. He's no different than anybody else doing this, which doesn't really make him, in my opinion, more important than other than helping get the ball rolling from the get-go, and that's it. Yeah. Anything past that, is godly, I guess, Messiah, and that's us to blame for that.
It's our blame to give him the attention we do. If we disagree and we don't want him infiltrating our narrative or whatever, then why?
He also could be telling the truth. So we need the government to confirm something, because then we'll know who's lying, and we'll know who's not. Also,
and see, this is my pre-2020 mentality. I didn't care that Corey Good was talking about meeting blue avians. I thought it was kind of cool. Okay, I don't care if it's all fake coming out of Elizondo's mouth. At this point, I don't care if it's all fake coming out of Greer's. They're pushing the ball.
Mm-hmm. You're keeping the conversation going.
You reach the bar for reptilians. Suddenly, people are like, I guess we should look at this Navy footage that kind of looks like it's going faster than anything we've ever seen. Because that's a big step of courage for them. And it also is what is, you know, when I try to be as open-minded as possible about it. So yeah, they're reaching, and they need to reach. I think most ufologists, people who are into this, we've got to reach. That's, if you're into it, isn't that kind of what you're supposed to be doing? Like figuring out what's going on here and there, and I'm like, okay, and then tell everybody this is what I figured out. Like, you know, that's kind of the fun of it. So, but just like Linda, you're like, some of this, I don't know about, you know, you mapping the stars and telling me which species comes from every star. I don't know. But at least you're saying something so crazy and out there that if somebody saw an alien in their front yard, they might talk about it. Because they saw Linda Moulton Howe flipping out, saying, God knows, I know they're from Zeta Reticuli, this star next to Never Neverland, right? Like, who cares? I saw an alien in my front yard. I don't know if it helps create
and that's what voice. That's what we have to remember is that end of day, we're still human beings. We have characteristics. Things show. We get upset. I mean, the best of us shows at some times, but we're all putting opinions on the same idea because we're all experiencing something without any answers. But yet we're fighting with each other because we're all trying to get the answers, but not really helping each other. But, you know, what do you think would happen if you know, Greer and Elizondo, you know, worked together? Opinions aside, shook hands, let's do this.
They tried. Third Phase of Moon tried to do that. And Elizondo called Stephen Greer a terrorist. That's what happened.
So an attempt was made by Third Phase of the Moon to mediate, but an attempt wasn't made between those two. You know, so good on Third Phase for the Moon for mediating, but it really was up to those two. So with someone in a position of power that's trying to do so much things and say all these, get all this influence, it's contradicting for them to also refuse the assistance of someone prior to them, generational, you know, more experienced. You think you would listen to them, you know? So this combat that we see, you know, and if you listen to both sides, whether it matters or you maybe just get one narrative, maybe you get no narrative, maybe people listening have no idea who we're talking about, or they just heard it enough and they don't care. But they're not, you know, it's the same thing, just a difference of an opinion, and they're not getting along. But if they work together, they can make more money, if that was the cause, right? So why do you think the ego is so big? Is it a male thing? Because the reason why I'm leading into that is because you being a, you know, obviously a female in ufology, there's not a lot of females that do what you do. And so do you think it's a male thing? And being a female and other females that you've talked to in ufology, is there a different vibe? Because I don't get many chances to talk to females in ufology too, and I find you guys to be more calm and collective and level-headed, whereas we're all like, let's fight, let's go.
Oh yeah, you know, it's divine. It's dudes. Yeah, you know, because I think women would approach it much differently than the way that those two are approaching it. I think, like, if there was a woman at the top of the field in ufology, like Linda Moulton Howe, and there was some other one that had the same amount of draw and power, and both were kind of the biggest voices. Let's just throw this out hypothetically. They're both the biggest voices. Like, let's put all the energy behind Elizondo and Greer. The biggest voices, the biggest female voices, you know, and they both have all these same things in common, and they both want disclosure, and one of their narratives is fake, and one of their narratives is correct. And which one do you choose? How would two women respond to this? Honestly, I think they would just work together. I just think it's this female thing. Like, I think especially like when I had my own child, I was talking to every woman I could. because I needed as much help as I needed, and I needed to know as much information as I needed. And if I didn't have something, I wanted to make sure that like I could call someone up and be like, oh my God, this is going on, or like whatever. So I think women sometimes become naturally collaborative in that regard.
We need a balance. We don't need not one or the other. There has to be a balance. I've seen, Linda, before I got into this industry, I only knew of Linda Moulton Howe, one female in the mix of, things like that too. And then it's starting to change, it's starting to get better, and it's more pleasant approach to the same phenomenon, but yet you're still coming up short with the answers too. So it's a different approach, and it's helpful, but we still need answers. So with Congress coming forward and essentially suggesting or implying that those videos that Elizondo had are drones, what are your thoughts on that? Because now his idea and his, has kind of been debunked if you trust the government, right?
Yeah, it's one of those moments where I don't think he's associated with the government if they're telling us that his videos are incorrect and that those aren't UFOs, that those are drones. We know what they are. I think that, we could look at it anyway. Like maybe they're doing it to make us think that it's this, or because this, so they do this action to make us think it's this, right? Like that little game. But that was like, oh, like I saw that and I was like, oh, Jeremy Corbell and Lou Elizondo, the brand.
Yep.
They're standing on their own. Okay, they went and they found some cool unclassified footage, and they're like, oh man, look at this, dude. Like, that's kind of cray. And they were like, yeah, like, let's go hang out with Leslie Keane, right? Because Jeremy Corbell's in the know. He knows all about Bob Lazar.
They played the game, and the game played them well. Yeah. But was the game truthful?
To them, it was.
Right.
To them, it is. Everybody rationalizes things. Oh, it's bad. You can ethics. I was thinking about that the other day too. Maybe this isn't a conversation when we get on and we start talking about the different way, especially content creators report things like Linda Moulton Howe and Jaime Maussan, and we just jump straight to they're a fraud, or some people do that. But what we're really looking into is like a huge ethical conversation, right? Like, what do we give to the public? And those are different ethics for different reasons. Just like, do you kill one person, so 10 can live, or you kill 10 so like the best person can live? Like, there's weird ways that people think about things. Like when you really look at ethics and how people break it down, like that's what we're talking about. So it's pretty in depth when you think about it. Like, when we talk about who you want to call a fraud and who we don't, and where's that line?
Ethics are very important. We must have ethics. We need to refer to ethics, but
But anybody can play naive and dumb, and I've seen skeptics do it too. And that's
kind of why in my position, I have to try my best to be unbiased and play both sides, understand both sides, and figure out where the truth may be, taking a neutral approach, accepting all these things. And I lost my train of fucking thought. Where did that go? Shit.
No, dude, you've got to accept these things. It's freaking ridiculous, and it's super hard for people because when you have these ethics, right? Like, that's the thing. Right. Like, I could be oh my gosh, I found this alien photo. Mm-hmm. Like, let's say it's me. Let's do me. Somebody emails me tonight. And they send me a photo of a flipping alien, right? Okay, cool. Whoa, Ryan, what's the first thing I'm going to do? Put it in queue for the show.
Yep.
I don't know what else I'm saying. Is that ethical? I don't know. No, I do know because I've thought it through.
Well, if they give you consent to do it, then it's fine. They gave it to you.
I don't know what it is. Here it is. Here's the photo. Yeah. Here's what it is. Yeah. I'm not putting like, oh, the government and all these things are covered. Like, no, but I also think there's value in speed. I think the sooner something comes out, the sooner you can get the information, the faster you can go. And you're like, okay, I'm ready for this. Like Linda Moulton Howe was already talking about how coronavirus was a neurological thing for a while. And now it's kind of been proven like two people yesterday, I got brain fog or whatever, so we can look at Linda Moulton Howe and say, oh, she believes in all this serious stuff and all these star systems and these different species. Or we can look at Linda Moulton Howe and talk about what she was right about, which is almost just as scary. Like if you look at why don't we Google that? What was Linda Moulton Howe right about? What was Stephen Greer right about? The reason we follow these people because they were right at one point, and that's why we're still interested in what they're saying, regardless of whatever the hell they're saying. Maybe we'll find one little factoid in whatever the hell's going on with them these days, and that's what we hope for. That's why we still listen to them.
In order to sell a lie, there has to be a truth. So it will always start true. But do you think over time and over the years they become compromised because they realize that how easy it is with their influence to make money off of this?
It's not like that in their brain.
Well, you don't know that if you're speaking for them. Right?
I mean, okay, it's not. Yeah, I guess you're right. But it's not. I don't think that's like that for some people.
Well, that's what we're just talking about ethics. It's hard, right? Because at some point things change, you evolve. Next thing you know, you lose your job and you got to do something. It's the only thing you got. Maybe you have some PTSD from the army and things like that. You got to do something to fill your cup. And then you're trying to do the best you can with your beliefs. And then you got someone trashing on you, and then you lose it, and then you leave, so you don't, things like that, like that. That's the human characteristic. And the fight that we all have to figure out what it may be, what about belief? We need this fight is to get global confirmation. What about personal belief? If you're fighting to get confirmation, for the whole world, for your audience, for everything else. But if you had all the information in front of you right now, what do you believe? What's going on? What's the truth for you?
The aliens are real. They're out there, dude. There's people just like you and me right now somewhere else talking the same thing, like light years away. Yeah. Maybe not humans, but maybe humans. I think they're out there. I think there's more humans out there than we think. That's what I think. I think the universe is so big. I could say so many crazy things. Mm-hmm. Maybe right next door we'll buy some reptilians. I don't know. Do you know?
So then why fight? Why fight for the truth? If you're already content, you're happy, you know the answers, and you're good to go. Why do you continue to do what you're doing?
Because I want to know. I want to know. I want to be able to celebrate this new beginning with the rest of humanity. Mm-hmm. When it comes out, I want to be there.
It's exciting, though.
And even if I'm not there, like I want to just like, I want people to remember that they could believe and remember what it was like. And it's just like, it's going to be so much cooler than even pre-internet. And we talk about, the internet got invented. Like, it's going to be so amazing. And when it happens, it's going to be good. And they're prepping us well. I think it's a good prep. We're prepped. We're ready. They got it. We're ready to do this. They're ready to show it. It's going to happen sooner or later. And when it happens, I'll be like, man, this human experience is pretty damn cool. And I want to be there for that. So that's why I keep doing it. Because maybe it'll happen before I'm dead. Maybe it won't.
It's addictive. It's very addictive. I've had ups and downs. I've had, I've sacrificed a lot myself. There's been rough days too. But I mean, it's the people that are watching us right now that need us to give them the answers that we don't have. And I think I do it for the people, and I think you do it too.
Yeah, so, definitely for the people.
We'll pause right here, but we'll continue after a message from our sponsors. If you're listening to the audio only version, head over to youtube.com/Experiencer Support Association. You will see the video that goes with the audio. You're listening to Beyond the Tinfoil Hat, a podcast by the Experiencer Support Association, and we will be right back.
It's your business. It's your property. Your assets are worth protecting. Blacklight Investigative and Surveillance Services specializes in patrolling and inspecting residential or commercial property against fire, theft, vandalism, terrorism, and illegal activity. People and buildings are monitored to prevent crime. Keep your property, your people, and your assets safe from threat. Our elite staff are dual licensed private investigators and security guards. Blacklight Investigative and Surveillance Services. Go to blacklightiss.com.
The same thing that draws aliens to our planet is the same thing that draws us to others. Exploration, curiosity, sustainability of life. That's why we go. It would make sense as to why they're visiting here.
Travis! Quit playing around, man. Get back here. Travis!
The last thing I remember was this numbing shock. Stunning sort of a feeling. Very powerful.
Get away from me!
I was just out of my mind with fear, just screaming the whole time.
It's been theorized that aliens prefer remote areas because they don't want to attract attention. Whatever it is that they're doing, they would want to do that in a less populated area. There are multiple accounts of the same thing from people from all over the world. People that do not know each other, do not live in the same cultures, and they're all looking up, they're all seeing things in the sky. So it would be naive of us to think that we're
Ryan is one of Canada's leading new UFO investigators. He conducts and oversees UFO investigations on a constant basis and was really taken by his research. He's compiled a tremendous amount of data regarding UFOs in Canada. And just as interesting, he really goes over how UFO investigations are done and what are some of the mistakes that people make when they submit evidence. Note for starters, don't edit your videos or photos before you send them. If you want to hear more follow-up conversation between Ryan and myself, you can go to richardolemembers.com, where we have a candid conversation on ufology, the paranormal, and more. And remember, while we learn and grow and search for the truth, let's be good to each other.
Welcome to the Observation Deck, a state-of-the-art, one-of-a-kind virtual platform that takes video conferencing to the next level by using avatars to navigate a campus, just like you would in real life. First, you install the application and design your very own unique avatar. Then you're free to explore the various areas of the campus at any time from anywhere. There's so many areas and activities to choose from on the platform. There's a 1,000-seat auditorium, a large expo hall, a movie theater, a nightclub, an art gallery, and even a beach. Come attend a conference, or take a class, or hear a lecture. Meet new friends and interact directly with presenters. It's all right here on the incredible Observation Deck campus. Where in the world will you go?
Have you ever wondered, or maybe just thought to yourself, if there were others just like you? You know, people with extraordinary abilities, psychogenic advancement, and perhaps unique intuitions. Maybe you just wondered if there were other people who experienced unimaginable, unexplained, or even unusual and paranormal events. Are there people who have more questions, more fears than answers? Well, you're not alone. You've never been alone. We believe you. Sign up for EA today by going to tesacan.org/EA. That's TESACAN.org/EA. Welcome back. You are listening to Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. Have you ever experienced an unexplained event involving paranormal, UFOs, extraterrestrial, dogman, or any other paracryptid? Head over to our website, www.experienceyoursupport.org, and submit a report. Let the others who have already reported be that example that proves we're making a difference. If it wasn't for these reports, we would not be able to do what we do, and for that, we thank you. And also, if you want to get one of these tinfoil hats, head over to Leak Project and get one from Rex. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, didn't even notice. I was wearing this the whole time. Didn't even notice, did you?
No, I didn't know it was tinfoily. I see the cool color, but then I realized it's tinfoil, and that's so cool.
Yeah, I have to admit, I forgot to wear it. I just switched it. I was wearing this one the whole time.
You messing. You're doing that private investigator
Yeah,
thing.
no, I forgot.
You tricked me. Or you were wearing, you were wearing a different hat.
Was I?
Yes.
Okay, so
I did.
All right, let's get back let's get back into it here. So let's go back to 2013. Okay, you saw your lights in the sky.
Yeah.
Anything else happen? Let's talk more experiences. Anything else happen?
Yeah, a couple things here and there.
Yeah, we'll keep going. Yeah. Like
dabble.
What's that?
Dabbling in CE5 a little bit.
Okay. So how'd that go? When was that?
The big one was the one that started the show, which I believe was 6 years ago.
Okay.
Because I got a picture of it, of a little tiny dot in the sky when I did the CE5.
Okay.
So that was one.
Okay. You don't have to share if you don't want to. I'm just asking.
It's a lot. Okay. It's a lot. No, I'm here to share. Yeah, but it comes down to the I don't know thing, right?
Mm-hmm. So what was
There's a lot of things I don't know.
What was the CE5 thing for you? What was that like, that experience? Not just seeing something, but getting in that state of mind.
You do the meditation. You think about like peace and love and unity. And then we all done it, I'm sure. Look up in the sky and see if you see something. And then one day on a global CE5 initiative day, because Stephen Greer has a mailing list and he sends an email. Maybe you're familiar with it, but he has global initiatives once a month.
Okay.
And he puts it on an email chain. And what ends up happening is like they'll say, okay, July 2nd is CE5. July 2nd is CE5 day, right? Mm-hmm. And then so that was one of those days, and yeah, I looked up in the sky and I saw this little dot and I took a picture, and it was just very strange.
Did the dot do anything, or was it just there?
It was stationary, which is kind of what makes me feel like, I don't know. I don't know what it could have been. You know what I mean? I don't know what it could have been. But I talked to a lot of experiencers, and, you kind of just, when they're like, just be free, just talk about it, which I think is also like the feminine aspect of the field. I think women are very much more open to be like, tell me what happened. Tell me how you felt. What did it think like? What was it like? We're just, there's just something about divinely feminine. And, everybody's like, some people are non-binary, all sorts of different things. But, there's a divine masculine, divine feminine sort of energy to everything. And I think like the divine feminine nature of ufology is very like, let's talk about the experience, right? And the experience can be all sorts of different things in all sorts of different ways. And, yeah. And so for me, it was like, wow, that was fascinating. Uploaded it on the internet. Yeah, but I don't know. I can't say what it was. I can't say what it wasn't. Anyway, I don't know. It's tough. You start doing it more and more and more, and you start second guessing yourself. Like I start second guessing myself on so many of these things that like I was on board with that train. Yeah. And I was like, I believe this 100%. And then to learn, and you do the research, and it's not true, and that's what I say is like, cause we had a flat earther on our show like 2 days ago. He was
how was that?
It, man. He's losing it lately. Moonlicked. We love you, dude, but flipping out. He made some meme about me today. I couldn't understand it. He wrote it in German.
I didn't know that Moonlick was a flat earther. If I knew that earlier, him and I might have gotten along a little bit longer.
You're a flat earther?
I dabble. Yeah.
Tell me more.
We'll get into that later. That's at the end of the show.
No, you can't mess with me like that. You're a flat earther.
I am unsure of where I reside and in the multiple theories of what shape the Earth may or may not be, because there's not enough evidence on either side to conclude.
Okay, I know what category to put you into now.
Yeah. So I'm either I don't know what shape the Earth is. However, I tend to believe a lot of the associated facts that would suggest that the shape as presented is not accurate. And then we'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
You know, yeah, I don't know, but I'm looking into it.
No, I respect that. That's interesting to me. I'd love to hear more about it sometime. You know, like,
yeah, well,
I'm open to it. If the Earth is flat, tell me. I just don't get the facts that I need. I need a fact for me to take that jump.
See,
do you have a fact? I know it's theory. It's all theory.
It's all theory.
But there are theories, you know, and a theory becomes stronger the more people support it. That's what makes E = MC squared, you know, a good theory.
Again, it depends on how you build the case, right? So if we get back into this whole, like, we have pieces of evidence, then we have opinions, and then we have people fighting each other over these different theories and opinions. The flat Earth movement, you know, is no different in that sense, because there's, you know, a flat Earth versus a globe Earth, you know, a round Earth, ball Earth, whatever you want to call it. You know, there's still arguments on either side, but yet it's still theory. We have science that would suggest it being a certain way, but yet majority of the people are not astronauts and can't confirm. And some of these same people also don't trust NASA, you know, in general. So, you know, to trust them with something and then to trust them with other things, it's hard. It's complicated. So that's where I find myself when I dabble into that, because I share the idea that the government isn't always truthful and there's missing information, and there are certain circumstantial things that get in the way to build the case to suggest that they're not telling us anything or the truth. Being on a flat Earth or a round Earth really doesn't make a difference. But the problem with the interesting thing with the flat Earth model would suggest that there's more land on this planet that we don't have access to, which means more minerals, more resources, all these things, which is depriving us of resources while we're dying on this planet. So there's a lot of other things associated with the idea of us being in a bubble, because we're prevented from doing all these things and nuclear control and all these other things. So it's all circumstantial stuff, but it's all the same shit. And what I mean is there's distrust in the government, there's misinformation, there's disinformation, there's activists trying to prove that the moon landing is fake, right? Flat earthers have a lot of research that suggests that the moon landing is fake. So do UFOs, ufologists. If they were to work,
because it's good data. I've seen the evidence.
But they use with that. They use the same information to suggest their other theories. So because the moon landing is fake, there must be something on the moon, aliens, blah, 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 blah. Because the moon landing is fake, the Earth must be flat. So they're using a fact and associating these alternative theories based on interpretation from the Bible and other things like that too. So it's the reason why I enjoy that movement, because of the intelligence that comes from that community. There are a lot of smart people there that have done the research and have the background and things like that too. It supports research in the UFO community because they're fighting the same beast, and that is to overthrow and disprove that the government is, telling the truth. So if you can take the information from both sides, put it all together, walk that middle line, some of these flat earthers might have answers to solve the riddles with ufology and vice versa, even though they don't communicate with each other. So another subject is how about paranormal? So what is your views on paranormal activity?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all psychically connected. I actually very excitedly, I don't know, I'm a big fan of this TV show called Hollywood Medium with Tyler Henry. And he's a psychic, and it's really cool because he's one of the best psychics in the world. And so he communicates with the dead, and he's got like a wait list. I don't know, like 500,000 people. It takes years and years and years to go see him, right? And when I watch these shows and he talks about channeling the dead, it gives me some peace. Like, I feel like I have an idea of what I'm in store for, what we're all in store for.
So paranormal is
And I
connected
think,
to. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, consciousness. Yeah, kind of the consciousness theory. How can it not be? If consciousness run the craft, then who's to say consciousness can't create paranormal activity? It's magic on both sides. It just happens to be real, right?
So is paranormal and have any place in ufology?
Yeah, I think that's why. I think it's the mystery is what kind of keeps us going. But does it have a place in ufology? That's hard for me because I consider myself like sensitive to different energies and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it would on some level. Like,
what does the word paranormal mean?
Like just I would put psychics in that category.
But the word itself, the etymology of the word paranormal,
means like, fuck.
It means anything that's not normal.
I know what it means.
Okay, so ufology, is that normal?
Right, because para means beyond normal.
So ufology is paranormal by technicality.
Yeah, technically.
So why do you think that when I say the word paranormal, individuals like yourself assume that means ghosts? That means consciousness.
Because para can also mean beyond. Well, I guess beyond normal. Mm-hmm. And then why is it not paranormal? Why is ufology? It is paranormal technically, but they're in two different categories because it's the two biggest questions, which is death and aliens, right? The two questions that Bigelow wants to answer. And I guess you're right. It just hasn't been connected yet. It'll happen sooner or later. There'll be some sort of connection that we make, especially when we get the science out on it and everything like that. But I think it's separated right now because death is so mysterious. And ET is so mysterious that like our little brains kind of need to separate them. But yeah, it means beyond normal. But I think we're closer to answers with ufology, so we don't want to use the word paranormal so much. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why we don't use it so much. I don't use it because I figure all my viewers are going to think I'm talking about ghosts if I put it in there, and I don't want to talk about ghosts. That's why I don't use it.
So, but you still talk about other things that aren't normal. So you're talking about it without calling it that, right?
Yeah.
So that's another example of how we're playing the game, but not with the full deck of cards. We're not using the right tools. We're not using the right information. We're mislabeling them.
I'm also a librarian, so I used to catalog books with subject headings and everything, right? Ryan, I cataloged a couple paranormal books.
Did you catalog them right?
Section for ufology. I don't even.
You might have put them in the wrong spot.
I bet I could look up the cataloging system right now and tell you where they. Well, no, it is under paranormal. Yeah, there's a paranormal section now that I remember. Paranormal section.
Isn't it like New Age now?
UFOs, ghosts.
New Age. Yeah.
UFOs, ghosts. Yeah.
So
they're right by each other.
Well, that's media. That's Hollywood. That's marketing. Yeah. All those things and how we were raised. So, fun fact: majority of the community in flat Earth in societies actually don't believe that aliens exist or UFOs. Interesting. Not all of them. I believe in.
Why am I more fired up? You know what? I think you give flat Earthers a good name.
Well, they're good people, right? They're all people. That's what it comes down to. They're neither wrong, neither right. There's no evidence to defend them any more than I am trying to defend all the communities. My role in this is to bridge the gap and bring everyone together so I can learn from them all to find the truth. What I've been trying to do, and CC as well, we've been trying really hard to get someone who's fully invested in flat Earth. Not just believing in it, but done the science and research that would challenge it. Because I want to have a good conversation kind of like this with a flat earther. So if there's anybody out there that would, they also hate Freemasons too. I'm a Mason, so I like to have a chat with a flat earther and be like, hey.
That's cool. You're open about it.
Oh yeah. It's all in the back right there too, if you look close enough. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at is there's so many things going on, and we're not getting along with each other. There's so many different theories, there's so many different understandings, but what brings us together is that we are human beings. We are all trying, we all have emotions, we all have this ability to connect to some sort of consciousness connection, whatever you call it, whatever you want to name it, whatever you feel, however you identify, which makes us all an experiencer. So whether, Lou's having a bad day and or a good day, he's still technically an experiencer because he experienced something and he's putting a story out, and we still have to provide that bedside manner to him as an individual. And that's what I want to see in disclosure. I don't want to have answers. I don't want confirmation. What I want is mental health support. I want, therapy. I want all these treatments to assist experiencers.
That's beautiful.
With dealing with it, because there's a lot that goes into a yes. Okay. It either all exists or none of it exists. So, we need an answer of something. There's not enough evidence to, to debunk any of these things, but that's why we can kind of go all squirrely. But if the answer comes, then a lot of these unknowns become known, and then we're left with something. And then you have a bunch of experiencers that are interpreting certain events based on how they thought. And because if they say, yes, extraterrestrials exist to any capacity, then it's possible that all of these horrible things have happened to these experiencers. And there's experiencers out there who choose to not mention it, keep it quiet, and don't say anything, and pretend it didn't happen or believe it wasn't real. Then they hear that it is real. Then they go back and be re-traumatized and re-victimized. And that is what I'm upset about in this industry, is I'm not seeing any preparation for the bedside manner and the aftercare for when we get confirmations, which tells me two things. Either A, the government is preparing a cover-up for the cover-up, because too much information has gotten out by them not regulating everything, so they're preventing it from happening again. Or it actually doesn't exist, and they're just letting for us to figure it out, and they're, we just got to, bend for ourselves, and as the world gets better, we'll get better. Right?
Completely, man. Completely. Yeah. And, I have a lot of hope that people are going to be a little bit more expansive and be on the same page and look at the bigger questions and take it all in and really unify a little bit more. Especially, I think that's the biggest thing is just general empathy all around the board would be good. Lou Elizondo, I don't think he's evil. I don't think Stephen Greer's evil. I just don't, I'm not on that train. I think Hitler was evil, right? I think there are evil people. I'm not thinking there are evil people, but there are also people who are just people. They're people. They might not be over empathetic. They might be kind of cold, but that doesn't make them Hitler.
Gonna leave that one alone, but to be on the middle.
No, keep going. Do it. It's gonna make it fun. Let's go. Throw it back. Who cares? Come on, let's do it. Throw it out there.
I'll leave that
I'm
one.
Excited.
I don't want to. I'm not going to defend that. No. Well, it's not, he used to be an artist, so he was a human being before that, right? So there's trauma that created the monster, right? So you got to look into, he wasn't born a monster. Something created him to do all these horrible things that shouldn't have happened. So it's society, and that's where we got to start. We got to start with the people. So with your program and you're teaching, and you're educating people, you're getting a pretty good influence, and you're helping a lot of people. And I just want to say good job for that, because whether we have an audience, you have an audience, everybody has their audience, but there's people that love certain things. They're all here. They're tuning in. You and I would not be able to do what we do if it wasn't for the people listening. It wasn't for the people contributing and doing all these things. So, how is that for you? Is there pressure? You love it? You enjoy it? What's it like being a podcaster?
I love it. It's amazing. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down. Thank God StreamYard was invented. Everybody go buy stock. This has changed my life in a lot of different ways. Professionally, I've gained a skill set that I can use. Learning how to use StreamYard is great if you work at any organization. you can tell your business, I'm going to pop up your logo up here and we'll be streaming your things. And what do you want, boss? You want me to highlight that comment from the public and let's MailChimp it here or whatever. Also, just, I mean, like it's fascinating the things that you can learn. So, yeah, you know, there's that aspect. The friendships are pretty huge, and being on the verge.
The community too, you know, like just being involved.
100%. Yeah. I start meeting someone, I talk about aliens, and I just like, bam, we're just talking about aliens. And I'm just like, I'm with my people, you know. I'm like, this is great. Like, I don't have to shy away or stop talking or be like, oh, you don't want to hear about this, you know, or it's my time to just kind of be selfishly me when I get to go hang out with all my UFO friends and talk to them and really feel like I'm reaching closer. Like, I want to find those people who know the secrets, because that one day I do think Tom DeLonge, you know, got contacted by Lou Elizondo. He talked about it in the Joe Rogan interview he had. He talked about meeting with a government official. Like, that was in the interview. He didn't name who, so we can't confirm it was Lou Elizondo. You know, but that's kind of what happened in that situation. Tom DeLonge went out looking for it, and he found it. He found something. You know, he started writing. He was reading UFO books on the road while he was out there with Blink 182. He couldn't stop being upset. He got Ufologist of the Year. All this amazing stuff happened, right? And then he kind of moved into it, and that's what makes it tough, because he had some viewership. He's a great person to have back you, man, so you can get that. I don't know where we're going, but yeah, I love being a podcaster. It's awesome. Everybody do it. I encourage everybody who's into UFOs, just go do it, man. Go start your show, you know, hang out, whatever. Go get your friends, watch it, and have fun. Have fun with it. Get that voice out there. We need another one, and we need another one, because it gets tough and people quit. People do quit. Yeah. People do quit all the time, guys. They quit all the time. You show, you're like, oh, they quit, you know? And if you've got a voice and you're ready to go out there and talk about it, go do it. And if you don't think the government's going to go get the truth, then go find it yourself, man. That's what I'm trying to do. Even if I couldn't share it with you guys, when I get people sending me little leaks and little documents that change my mind, like recently someone sent me a letter saying that they created the crop circles in Wilshire, or like a letter back in the day. The guy's passed who created them. You know, and I can't, like we're saying, we got to confirm. You have to double, triple confirm this stuff, you know, and I'm just showing you guys what's sent to me. I don't know if that's real or not, right? Like, here you guys go. But that changed me a little bit, man. It made me look at the crop circles different, you know? And so, yeah, there's that component of it. And that's like it's exciting. It's exciting. When's somebody going to send me? And I could have not shared that with the viewers. You know, I could have not shared that with the viewers, but I hope one day there are things that are told to me that they're like, don't you tell anyone. If you say a peep on your podcast, Amy, I kind of hope that. So tell me. I want to know. I won't say anything. I promise you guys. I know that's hard to believe, but I will keep it to myself until never mind. That's I'm not going to go into that joke. I bet. Just go become a. Just go tell
ahead.
you guys.
No. Go ahead. Say it. You made me say it.
Reptilians are real.
Yeah.
I told you guys that's what they told me. Reptilians are real. Come watch Aliengirl. Come watch Aliengirl111.
Yeah.
I know. I've got all the insider information.
Well, tell everybody. Why not? Tell everybody where they can find your channel. Do it right now. Why not?
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Are we? Okay. Yeah.
We're not done yet.
Okay. Because I just want to know if I'm done. I want to throw it out there, right? Like, there's a little outro I do here.
Then we'll save it for the end. I'm just rolling off of what you were saying. So two things. For those of you that want to start podcasts and stuff, we do understand that there's a lot of work and a lot of effort that goes into it. You can just start ugly, and then eventually it'll evolve. For those of you who followed me from the very beginning, you know, I mean, I used to not, you know, just get out of bed and do this. Like now I'm having showers before shows and doing things. Like, I've evolved. But you just got to start and build that following. Just do a little shameless plug. A lot of people may not realize this, but as part of the media company that the Experience Support Association is we help people start their own podcasts If you got the gumshoe and the notion to do so, and you got the idea, and we make all the fancy videos and all these other things on behalf of the association in exchange for you creating content on our channel. So we are looking for individuals to do a show once a month and contribute to the network, and we grow. Even if you have no channel, it's an extension to you too. If you wanted to throw one of your morning things on our channel,
I was like, is that an invite?
No, I just kind of want to throw that in too. And
I love it. I love what you guys are doing. I just love it. And I think one thing that's hard is like we're talking like you got pre-April 2020. I know I keep talking about this. It's an important date. Pre-April 2020. It's exploiting the experiencers that gets painful. Like I do open StreamYard calls. Some people call in. They say they're like an alien, and like it's the PTSD and like, dude, if you've got, if you're being triggered, you're not going to jump, like people have processed it when they've come on a show to talk about it by that time. Right. But if you're somebody who just like finds the show or like what's, this, like they find this show.
But you're creating an opportunity to allow them to speak. And you're giving them they're coming out and they're not leaving it inside. So you're
and I think just the term experiencer is really important here. And, we were talking about the difference between like the female aspect and the male aspect. Well, there's a point between women where when a woman tells you something between women, you just believe her. Mm-hmm. Like if she tells you something, I'm not going to get into depth about it, but you believe her. She had an experience and it messed with her. And you leave it at that. You don't say it didn't happen. You don't say she's crazy. You just say, wow, I'm so sorry that happened and that affected you that much. I'm really sorry. And that's how experiences need to be. They affect you. They have a reaction. You change a little bit because of it, right? And that's that. And so now when I saw that you guys had the link for experiencer support, I was like, perfect. Because what do I do in a situation where someone comes on and I have had people kind of like have a moment, like a snap, like, oh, like something like luckily really great rapport with this person, but like things can get triggered during a show. And if I triggered something, I would feel very bad. So thank you so much for creating the experiencer support panel that you guys have, because I feel like I have a resource now where like I could say, like I'm not a licensed counselor, like I don't really know everything, but like, and I'm saying it in every episode. I'm like, go down to the link below if you need experiencer support, right down there. That's where you guys can get it, because that's not my specialty.
It's not
I'm too silly. I'm too crazy. But you guys are creating it, and it's
that's
here
the thing.
now.
And to clarify, it's not our specialty in terms of the science part and the academic and the diagnosis part. We're still trying to understand what's going on and learn from the experiencers, because there's many different ways we support. So those like to report, they will report. But specifically, I think what you're referring to is a program called Experiencers Anonymous, which is a private Zoom meeting. Which our next one is July 30th. So I'm just going to kind of say that here. And the whole idea and concept of that is that anyone just shows up, they talk about their experiences, and the rules are no investigators. So I'm not allowed to be there. Sorry. I'm not sorry, but the rules are set up so I don't investigate. I let you guys be comfortable. We don't, we set the rules that if they are, psychologists and things like that, we require credentials before they speak on it, and all these other things too. But the whole idea is just to be in a room so people would listen, and then by listening to other stories, you might come forward and share yours. It's adopted off the AA and NA model, where we just create that safe environment where people can talk. And then maybe I'll get a report after that, maybe I won't, doesn't matter. The main thing is that you're not keeping it inside. You're hearing other things that are similar. You're learning from each other. You realize that you're connected, and that's what it's all about. Is learning from each other, because we're the source. We're the ones experiencing it, right? You had an experience, I had experiences, other people had experiences. We don't have answers of what they are, but we need to talk to other people that have said experiences, and do that too. Yeah,
it's a transcendence age. It's the age of emotional learning. It's the age of getting connected with the whole experience, right?
It's a real simple concept. You just show up, you talk, see what happens, or you listen and see what happens. That's it. It's just there. And then you'd be surprised about how comforting that is, just knowing that there is a place to go if you need it. Whereas mentioned before, is we don't have a place for experiencers to go right now. So I want that in place before we get confirmation. And that's what we're working for here at the Experiencers Support Association. So another thing I want to mention, you do like to talk about news and people leaking you stuff. So has anyone ever leaked you anything from Canada? What do you know about Canada?
What do I know about Canada? Oh, you got me. I know. I'm a hardcore American. Yes, I can. What do I know about Canadian UFOs? Well, I do know you guys used to have a Canadian watchtower in the late 1950s. I do know there was a guy out there studying a lot back there, and he erected that watchtower, like a scientifically based one. And he believed that Mars had life on it, and so that was part of it. I do know that. A couple different Canadian cases, sort of, not so much, but I hear so many different cases that, but I really, unfortunately, it's kind of American centric, unfortunately. I hear a lot of different stuff, but the majority of the cases I know are American. I do dabble and look at the Brazil cases. It's not like I don't. I mean, no, it's not. I've looked at a lot of all sorts of different work, and like the Russian Roswell, and you have all these different places all over. But yeah,
So did you? Well, you probably don't know this, but you'd be surprised to know that Canada has what's called a service document, communication for intelligence, vital, something, I can't remember the full acronym for it. Whereas they're required by law, an agreement between the United States and Canada, that if any unidentified object is visible and reported, they have to transfer the information to the United States, and the United States will continue the investigation. Canada does not complete the investigations. America does. So the reason why I'm pushing for Canada over here is because you guys over there might have the answers. But as I mentioned to you this morning, that we're so open with letting the stuff out, that the answers are probably in our Canadian documents, but yet, no offense, but America is just centered on America.
Oh, no, it's completely obvious.
North America includes us and Mexico too. FYI.
I know. I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, no, these Canadians are different. No, I just can't. After I was walking my dog, and I was like, there's a lot of differences all over the world, So yeah, it's unfortunate, and I try really hard. It's because it's just like there's no other countries around here. Luckily I live in New Mexico, so I'm very close to Mexico. So I'd say I'm pretty cultural because we've got a lot of immigrants here and a lot of Spanish. I know enough Spanish to talk to somebody who doesn't know English, in case I need something or something like that. So it's multicultural here, for sure. But, you get more centralized into like middle America, and that's, the mentality, it just feeds throughout the whole country.
Hey, you don't have to defend yourself. I should be defending myself because I know more about America than I do Canada, and I'm Canadian. And that's because everything about America is on Canadian television. So it took me a long time to learn that Canada had UFOs too and all these other things too. And that's why I was realizing that, this stuff is missing. So I'm gonna charge Cece there, if you're listening, the next time you're on your morning shows and you're having a conversation to chat, show her the timeline and give her some of our Canadian documents so she can learn about Canada.
You got it. I'll start Googling it. I'll Google Canadian stuff.
Be
I'll
careful.
start
Some of
Googling
that
it.
stuff's
Yeah.
crap. Some of that stuff's crap. We got our problems too. We have our
Oh,
Lou
now I have-
Elizondos that we
You needed to get me off the Bob Lazar thing
Yeah.
because I'm really mad at the library because they have not produced my interlibrary loan for my Bob Lazar research. So I'm very upset with the American Libraries Associate Library. They're just not doing their job out here in America with the libraries.
We'll keep fighting the good fight. All right, so we're going to do our last segment, which was kind of, you're supposed to be a surprise, but you kind of ruined it in the middle, and I'll explain why. It's called Sorry, Not Sorry. We'll be right back.
I'm ready.
All right. So, with all the experience that you have and knowledge, what shape is the Earth?
Round.
Okay. That's what. So that was supposed to be a surprise because we already talked about it earlier. But normally we ask this question at the end. So, why do you think that people cannot agree on the shape? So on our program,
Sure.
we always ask.
I got an image.
We always ask.
I got a
questions.
quote.
Okay.
I got a quote. No, you keep talking. I'll pull up my quote.
Okay. So we always have, a variance of people on here. We ask these questions and we never get the same answer. And round is popular, by the way. It is trending. It is the most common answer for the shape of the Earth. But not everybody agrees on that being the shape. So if no one can agree on the shape of the Earth, is that any different than us agreeing whether or not, it's ghosts or aliens or all this UFO stuff?
No, I think people can't agree on the shape of the Earth if they knew the difference between fact and opinion and tried to, I don't know, rely on science.
But even if the science is there, do you have a bunch of people working really hard to prove that the science is wrong?
No, because they don't give a shit because they know it's wrong. Oh, it's already cursed.
That's okay. You're allowed. You're allowed on this show.
Okay. No, because no scientist is going to back it because they already know it's fake. That's why. They don't care. Why would you waste your time on it? No, they're done. They're like, wow.
Or they're paid. We're talking top scientists.
They just don't care. They don't care. Get as many flat earthers as you want to scream in a bunch of scientists' face. They're not going to study it.
No, but I mean, even with the arguments they use too, it's on theory. It's all theory. And then science is actually theory too, though. It's not. You can apply science when you send people to space.
Sure.
Right? You're applying the science. But then
now we're getting to the 5D reality right here. Now we're moving into 5D.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I'm just saying. I'm just letting everyone know. Now we're moving into the 5D aspect of flat Earth theory, which is great. I'm into the 5D. Let's do it.
Well, it could be interdimensional.
Yes. But now we're talking different dimensions. We're in this dimension right now. There might be a 13th dimension where, I don't know, whatever exists. But I'm very interested in the dimension I'm living in right now. So yeah, I think it could be a simulation. It could be all these things, sure. But what's going on now with the knowledge? And I think that society, citizens have a very big issue. They don't know the difference between fact and opinion. I think the American school system's failing itself by pumping out kids and students who don't know the difference between fact and opinion, because then they go to become voting citizens who fight about fake news because they don't know the difference between fact and opinion. And scientific analysis, dude, it is hard to figure out physics. It is hard to figure out chemistry. That is not easy stuff to look at and understand. It takes years of studying science and biology. You can't just jump into medical school. You have to have a bunch of credits in biology and human anatomy. So I found my quote, and I think I was looking for it, and I posted it on Twitter, and I have the link to the article. I don't remember, but I highlighted it, and I almost put it up this morning. But then, everybody was, they were feeling it. So this is quote. I'll have the link to the article. There is a very deep fundamental reason why the Earth is round. The force of gravity depends upon the distance between two interacting objects, and the only three-dimensional object you can make with a single distance is a sphere. We can measure the behavior of gravity in the laboratory with a variety of highly sensitive experiments. So yeah, we can say the Earth is a simulation and stuff like that, sure. But the reality that we're in, regardless if this reality is a simulation, is that what I just read. That's the reality of this dimension, right?
Is it possible that this flat plane bubble, whatever we're in, if you are a flat earther, is inside a much larger sphere? Meaning there's other land?
We're talking flat Earth, okay?
Yeah.
Can you be more specific, please?
I like I said, I'm on either side. It's just I hear the arguments. I'm just picking your brain to see where to go. That's the whole point of this last segment.
Oh yeah. No, I have fun with it, man. I have fun. I love going wild when we go on these
some
shows
flat
and talk about
earthers
theories and stuff.
Heavily believe that gravity doesn't exist because it's a theory. What do you think about that?
I think that's a weak argument for somebody who just gave you the argument that I gave you, which is just theory on theory on theory. They got into a fight with someone. He said, hey, all you got's theory. And then they're like, oh, really? Well, gravity's a theory. Yeah, gravity's a theory that's been proven. We were just talking about this, Ryan. The reason that gravity's a theory that's popular is because scientists like that theory because it's pretty accurate. That's why. So, yeah. And yeah, flat Earth is a theory too, but people don't really study it because it's not worth their time because they know it's not real because they've studied science and know how gravity works. You could tell me gravity, then like, what do we do? Like, you're going to tell me gravity doesn't exist? And that's the thing, Ryan. Sure, we might be in a simulation. Sure, we might be under a mason jar. Sure, but whatever dimension, reality you're in, I want to know about this one. I want to know about this one. Motherfucker.
So what is this one then?
Jesus, gosh dang it. Because then I thought about me in a mason jar on the planet. It's flat. Now I'm confused again.
See, that's kind of the thing, right? There's not enough evidence to conclude on either answer because we go down these rabbit holes, and the end of the day, we have people fighting against each other on different opinions and theories. And what we're lacking is communication and confirmation from our governments. So how do we get the answers? You're trying, you're pushing, you're collecting all the dots.
I think it's a fact that the Earth is round. I trust what I just read.
Well, yeah. I don't know who your source is, but do you trust?
I can give you the link. Like I said, I'm sorry I don't have the link right now. I can put it in the chat.
Okay.
Like I have sources.
It's okay. I can't.
It's actually a university. I could pull it up right now.
Yeah,
here, I'll tell you what my source is.
I can't prove or disprove it. No one can. Only people that can prove that the prove definitively what shape the Earth is are the people that went to space. So and maybe pilots. I don't know if they fly that high enough to be able to tell if there's curvature or not. But like some say it's flat, some say they don't. So it all comes down to. I'm not trying to convince you to believe one way or the other. The point of this is kind of to wrap up what we were talking about earlier. Is the whole idea that because we can't get, fractions aren't working together to solve these riddles. We're missing information.
Yeah, I'm okay without talking about flat Earth, though. I'm okay with it, Like, I know I'm like, let's talk about... I think reptilians are way more possible than the Earth being flat.
Let's talk about reptilians.
That's how... Yeah, okay.
What do you like about reptilians? Where do they come from?
They're fun. They're crazy. They're cool. They're weird. A lot of people encountering them you go through Preston Dennett's abduction research and, you got them there. You got them, people saying they meet them. Yeah, they're everywhere, right? They're just a type of a species of extraterrestrials, like many that have been reported. They just tend to be the most fun because, like, they got it the Draco name. And they're also the evil ones, right? And some people say they're not evil. See, I've heard about good reptilians. I've heard about bad reptilians. I don't know.
Good humans, bad humans.
Yeah, good reptilian, bad reptilian. I don't know, but I have had friends, literally dead serious, tell me they have met reptilians. Like people I love, I care, I trust. And that's And I believe my friend.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if that same friend were to tell you that they strongly believe that the Earth is flat, would you still love and trust that friend? Skill testing question.
My friends wouldn't do that. No, I'm just kidding.
You're inferring. You don't know that.
No. If I respect that opinion. I appreciate different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong about flat Earth, but I need a fact, and that's where it ends. That's my flat Earth. That's where I'm done with researching it. I just need more facts. If you can give me a fact, like a couple, then if I could get some facts, some studies that scientists have done and things like that, I might be more excited about it.
You have all those things. And
do I?
No, say you do, and then what do you do with them? Now
I've never had those things.
No, imagine
from flat earthers.
From anything, a fact on anything you're trying to prove. Reptilians. You have all the facts that you need to prove it. What do you do with it?
What do you mean? What facts? What facts are we finding here?
Well, I don't know. Are there any facts that reptilians exist?
Well, the number of testimonies is quantifiable, so that's data.
The number of testimonies that is quantified is them seeing things that appear to be what resembles a reptile, but who named it reptilian? Do they call themselves reptilian? Where did that name come from? Or do we label
because they look like reptiles.
But they're not technically. But are they reptilians?
No, I mean they look like
maybe
them,
they're
right?
called something else, right?
Dracos. That's what some of them say.
Draco specific because of the assumption that they come from a specific place in the stars. Who told them that? See, there's not enough fact on any of this stuff to conclude. So I'm just playing around with you here.
I mean, it could exist. It couldn't exist. I don't
know. These communities are no different in these beliefs. We're human too. So it's a mess. It's a fucking mess. So if we put our heads together and instead of arguing the theories, accepting the possibility and finding the things that are in the middle, you might actually end up somewhere in the middle, whereas some scientists are now suggesting that the Earth may not be round. It may actually be, oval shape or I forget what it's called. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson actually recently, I think he mentioned it was a pear shape. I think that was something recent too. So you need to look into that. So yeah, so there's things.
What? What? Pear-shaped Earth. Oh my God.
So they're not even sure now the latest technology and things like that. So things are changing. And if things are changing, is that because we're getting smarter and we're, or all right, thank you, Stacey. Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to get you all worked up. I'm just playing around here. So
that's what I do, man. That's why I wake up every morning. So I scream into the internet and then I'm normal all day. It's great.
Let's use the last 5 minutes. And you tell everybody where they can find you and all this other fun stuff. And then we're going to do our after chat. And you can have fun in the comments.
All right. So, guys, my name's Amy. You can find me on Aliengirl111 channel, YouTube channel. Go check it out. You could Google it, Aliengirl111. It's all one word. It'll pop up. I guess that's my come check me out. I guess that's it. I said it was going to be super epic and it wasn't.
Yeah, that's why I gave 5 minutes because I thought you said you were going to have this huge thing. Okay, that's all good.
I don't know. Just go check me out, you guys. I do have a thing, right? Okay, I have to turn the button on. Boop. I go live Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I hope you guys come check it out, especially if you wake up in the morning. It's kind of fun to become part of, a morning routine, which is really fun. And yeah, I have a lot of fun things that I'm working on. A lot of fun. Hopefully, I get to do some more podcasts. Ryan, I would love if you came on my show. We could do a podcast together for Aliengirl if you're interested. Sure. And just getting more people to come watch the show. Working on maybe doing some late night experience or stuff. You could go follow me on Twitter as well. That's also another great thing that I like to use. And I like to share all my favorite shows that I like to go hop on. So if I share it, I'm probably in the live chat. So you guys can track down my thoughts by Twitter. If you're wondering what I'm thinking, by most of it There's a lot of cool Gaga stuff happening right now. So follow me if you like Lady Gaga too. You've got some amazing things coming. Grammatical Ball, Little Monsters. But yeah, so go follow me, Aliengirl111. You should be able to Google it. It's on YouTube. It's on Twitter. Those are my 2 major content platforms. And thank you so much for having me on your show. Thank you, Cece. I feel like I learned a lot from you guys just hanging out. So thank you so much for letting me be a part of it. Very exciting, awesome conversation. I love it. I hope we could turn the tables. You come on my show. You bring your facts about Flat Earth. Let's bring some of your, you should come on the Flat Earth show.
We can talk about it, but I'm not an expert in Flat Earth. I don't believe it wholeheartedly. I don't.
You're the reason that good Flat Earth started.
But I understand the arguments that they use and the association of facts that they use to prove their argument, and I understand how they parallel to the same arguments we use to defend the existence of UFOs. That's. But it's because it's very similar, but I seem to learn a lot more from them that helps me solve the riddle here that makes me sometimes think that they might know something. But but I haven't fully committed. I'm not like fully committed here. So I'm not an expert. I'm looking for an expert so that way I can.
Hey man. And if it's flat, let me know.
Let's talk about Tessa. We'll talk. That's what I'm good at. Let's talk about Tessa.
Oh yeah. We'll talk all about it, man.
Okay, cool.
I can't wait. It's gonna be sweet.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys, we do an after chat. So if you guys are listening to the audio podcast, you guys are shit out of luck. Head over to YouTube and watch the after chat. If not, have a good night. Amy, thank you so much for being here. This was fun. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. And Cece.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thanks,
Cece. You're gonna come on. Thumbs up if you do. If not, we'll see everybody later. Thanks for watching, everybody. Heed the world. That's it, everybody. That is a wrap. That is the end of it all. Thank you for joining me tonight. I look forward to seeing you back next week, where we'll continue to have this conversation deep down into the rabbit hole in which we call the ultra spectrum. Thanks for joining us. I said that already. Oh well, fuck it. Heed the world. All right. Welcome to the after chat. Cece, you're here just off camera, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. That was very interesting because it could, like two podcasters trying to like control the mic there. Who was interviewing who for a little bit there. It kept going back and forth, but we made it. So that was, what do you think?
I thought it was a great show. It was a lot of fun, and I had many moments of literal laugh out loud burst laughter.
Yeah,
so it was quite entertaining.
That's good. That was good. I mean, fuck, man. I gotta be careful with the things that I say because, I am never had to explain like the flat Earth stuff before. Like, so like, I mean, like, I'm like, shit, you know, does it appear, it might appear so, but now it's just kind of like, and then I have to be honest and be like, I know nothing to defend. I can't even defend if the Earth is round. You know, I don't know enough about the science into that because it's not the thing that I do, you know. You know, I'm not a scientist, but I do tend to believe some of this stuff. So there might be a problem with me. I don't know.
I don't think there's a problem with anyone who believes in flat Earth. Literally, at this point in time, like Amy said, we could be under a mason jar or on a marble, like in Men in Black, the movie. But, you know, it doesn't really matter to a degree, but I think it's testable. I agree. I tend to lean towards, you know, Amy's side, the round Earth side, I suppose. I think, you know, we've used the science that's used to, you know, assess rotation of the Earth, gravity, et cetera, and so many things that we, you know, take for granted today, scientific advancements, that it's hard to say that that's not accurate, you know, as a baseline data to function and build on.
So the struggles that I have is that I accept the science that being true. But then knowing some of the people and talking to some of the people that wholeheartedly investigate and research the flat Earth, as individuals, they believe it tooth and freaking nail, and they spend a great deal of time educating themselves just as much as we educate ourselves on these topics.
I guess, but they also make a lot of leaps, right? Like, for instance, I was watching a flat earther trying to see if they would, you know, come on the show. And as much as that makes me cringe, I'm doing it. So one of the things they said was, okay, you have a rock, just a normal rock, an image of a rock. Mm-hmm. How does water stick to it was the thing they said. And obviously gravity isn't real, so that's not a factor. But even if gravity isn't real, electrons in water and on the rock would have some water sticking to the rock. Then add an atmosphere that is like, you know, water molecules and gravity and the space holding it in, anti-gravity, makes a damn sphere. Every time we talked about this, liquid aluminum always turns into a sphere when it's melted.
Okay, let's just deflate the flat Earth here, and let's get into our comments and say hello to our members. So they know Jim. Good to see you. Cece, if you keep track of the live ones, I'll do the starred ones.
Okay.
They know Jim. Hello, sir. Alien Girl, obviously you're here. Awesome. Thank you for the show tonight. Lisa,
thanks for joining in the chats. Yeah.
Lisa, how you doing, Lisa? Good to see you. Who's what was that? What's it say? Horse lover? Horse lover fat? Is that what that says?
Horse, I would say, maybe.
Horse, yeah, horse lover fat. Amy, are you an experiencer? All right. Hello to you. My name is Ray. Ray, you're back. Did you stick around to the end? Right on, Ray. My flock is everywhere. Hello. Welcome to the channel.
Hey, my flock.
Lisa said, the government explains UFOs that's all they think of. What about us experiencers? They don't think of us. Why are they afraid of us? Well, we don't know if they're afraid of us. We don't know what they know. So, like, I don't know. What do you think, Susie?
I think that if they are afraid of experiencers, which I think they're more interested in experiencers than afraid, but they're fearful of the truth getting out ahead of them telling us the truth the way they want to tell us the truth.
Yeah, they got to control the response. So it's going to take some time. And then if that's what I was trying to say earlier, if we as a whole aren't going to respond to it in a positive way, you know, COVID being an example of how we're responding to that, you know, I wouldn't blame them for pulling the plug because we may not be ready.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the world makes enough toilet paper for an alien invasion.
Yeah, it'd be limit 1 roll per month.
Yeah. Gortium 85. Hoi hoi. Hello.
I like that intro.
Yeah. Cool. CC, you're here, obviously. Hi. You said some couple things too. That was good. Yes, humans can't rationalize terrible acts. Can rationalize terrible acts. Sorry. You would know. You were there. You said it. I'm tired. Long day. Lisa says, I don't hate Lou, but I don't trust him. Yeah, I kind of feel like that sometimes. You know, I don't hate him. And the thing is what I did was not to attack him. What I did with the Who's Lou stuff was I wanted the world and even him to know that he was a human being. So I had to get him where it hurt, so the people could see what it, so he could be reminded that he's not a superstar, and he's not untouchable. And I touched him. There might be consequences for that. I don't know. Who knows? But I know that I was able to see the real person after I fucking pissed him off. Yeah. So, and that's why I'm able to defend him now, in a sense, because I understand that underneath all that, there's a human being, and I think that kind of put him in check. And that might be why we don't see him anymore.
I think we all need to remember that we're all human beings. I'm kind of thankful that the internet was sort of just coming at the end of when I was in high school, because I can't imagine, the amount of cyberbullying that takes place just based off what I see on UFO Twitter. It's just nonsense. Like, we're adults. Come on. Don't act like high school children. Petty little nonsense, out of jealousy, whatever it might be. I think, we should be uplifting one another.
And there are some that do. We just gotta pick out the good ones from the bad ones. How many professional partners did we try to get that turned out to be bad ones? Every once in a while. Well, that's why it's just me and you. So far, we can't seem to find anyone that fits the vibe.
Yeah, in it for the right reasons, maybe. So we've had a few professional partners that have, left, but I don't think they were bad or what we were kind of aiming for, and had their own motives for joining in the first place that came to light.
Yeah, and the common trend is, again, their frustration because they're putting a lot of effort in and they're trying to make money, and then they look at us, they see that we're doing success, and they want to be successful as well, and they think that by being a part of this, they can make money. And then when they realize that, as soon as we realize that's the motive, we reject you, then it shows the motive, right? So what we're looking for is those who are actually doing the work, that want to help the people, not just piggyback off of the influence. And it's a tough lesson. Might be an American thing, though. No offense, but the one professional partner that we have that seems to be working is Canadian. So.
Well, no, Serena's, and she's just on.
Oh yeah, that's sorry, Serena. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Serena. You haven't popped up on a video in a long time. Say something. Almost forgot. Yes, sorry. I am so sorry. Fully sorry. There's no not sorry there. I am sorry.
Serena Drastis is with us, and she's American.
Yes. I have just been reminded. Again, tired. Sorry.
It's okay.
Not sorry. Okay, so where I lost my spot here. You're watching the live still, right?
Yeah. People are just talking to one another.
Okay. Who was it here? Win Niece says, good host of the channel. Stay neutral, just listen. So many seem cool. Thank you. I try to be neutral, but then sometimes I get dragged over the line, and then I get it's just like shit.
You were asking Alien Girl some really tough questions, like really grinding her in a few spots. I was like, whoa.
It's because she told me she was nervous. Don't tell me I'll give you something to be nervous about. Gotta live up to that. No, I love that. Yeah, what'd you say? You said I love that perspective. I see. You should star, because I always star things, and I forget,
I was starring some,
and I forget what the context is. They know, Jim says Cece, but look how human evolution was pushed too fast instead of letting nature run its course. What were you guys talking about?
Oh, I think we were talking about when I was talking about the perspective, was Alien Girl was talking about how this is an interesting time to be alive, I guess, and that if you think back to the internet age and how significant that was, right now we're in the age of or disclosure, you could say. And when she said it, I was like, yeah, we need to kind of put that into perspective a little bit. It was a kind of nice reminder, to be honest, that we are all here for a reason. But they know Jim was speaking to the technological advancements that have just gone quite quick, and we were kind of debating about whether it's quick or slow, to be honest, if it's behind or if it's, I'm of the opinion that technology has been suppressed, and that the only reason it feels that way is because it's coming all at once and it's overwhelming us, and it's a lot of change all at once that has significant impact on society and so forth. But if the technology wasn't suppressed, and maybe we would be at a different stage in society and we wouldn't have a lot of issues that we're having today.
Yeah, but we also have variance in countries. So even if America has the tech, we don't want that being reverse engineered and put in the wrong hands.
Yeah, see, but that's what I mean. Like, with technology, like if we advanced at the pace maybe we should have, our consciousness would have likely advanced along with it. And we wouldn't have probably what we know now as third world countries, because people would realize that in order to solve this climate issue, which this is real, we have to uplift all countries, being like Africa, everyone. All those countries need to come up and advance as well to, be sustainable themselves. This economic world we live in just siphons those countries for all their wealth and keeps them in poverty. And that's, often overlooked, and a narrative spun on it, and good shit with that. So watch what charities you support.
We have to remove borders and just be, I don't know what else to say. One solid unit. Not this one world thing, but, just work together.
Yeah, we're all human. So, why would we have one country that's doing really poorly when we have all this technology we have now? It's a lot of it doesn't make sense if you look into it. It's just greed.
Brownbeard, good to see you, sir. I hope you're still here. Good evening. Better late than never, right? Yeah. What time did you come in at 9? Yeah, halfway through. You're good. You're good. Hope you're still here. And then what did you say? Yeah, explains the tinfoil hat. I think that's when we started talking about the flat Earth. But then, yeah, Moonlight is a flat earther. See, like that surprised me, kind of, but not really.
Yeah, he never mentioned it.
Well, I never mentioned it either. We started doing the flat Earth stuff after I had that download and realized, like, why does my map fit on a flat Earth map? and then I went down this fucking rabbit hole and haven't been able to, But when we mentioned dimensions and stuff, perhaps it's not like I would accept the dimensional theory in the sense it's more of the consciousness based, not physical.
Yeah, I actually genuinely think that that's likely the factor. Like, that's why I don't completely dismiss it myself, because we can't really comprehend dimensionality or even multiverse or anything is wrong or right at this point. So, like, if those are, still up in the air, so is flat Earth.
So, Moon, if you are there, good to see you. If not, carry on. They know, Jim. I just heard something the other day that they found out the Earth isn't even spinning. Oh, what was that? Do you know anything about that?
I have no idea about that. I've heard flat earthers say that, but I've never heard, like, other than, the the concept that Sirius is never moving. It's if we're rotating.
Well, the problem is trust. Nobody trusts fucking anything, and then they do the research and then they explain it, and then somebody else tell them a different opinion, and all of a sudden they're like, "I'm going to kill you." That's War 101. Like it's just so fascinating, though. It's addicting. Not war, pardon me, flat Earth.
Yeah, I was like, "Where's it addicting?" Just silent over here.
All my haters out there, make sure you quote the proper context and just don't clip the whole fucking thing there. Alien Girl rocks UFO man. Good to see you, Tim. Good to see you.
We always love when Tim joins the chat.
Yeah, brown beard. Let's go. Let's start a GoFundMe to send you up with the Bezos. Yeah, I saw that down. That was funny. It's Jeff Garvey. Hello again. Good to see you. Marvin Dale Lincolns Jr. Canadian aliens love poutine. I bet they do. And then Terry Brown. Hello, Terry Brown. And that's all the ones I starred. So what did I miss? Anything? Just people laughing?
Alien Girl says, "Thanks, guys. This was so cool." I'm not sure if that means she's leaving the chat right now, but yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for being on. You passed the test. You've made it through the gauntlet. Don't challenge me. You learned something. You learned something today. So for those of you who don't know, in the chat before we started, she asked me to bring it on, so I did. Just a little bit. You
showed me a few times. I was like, "Whoa, he's really grilling her." Like he's like,
"Hey, I can if I want." That's why I'm saying, get fucking Lou in this chair. I shit you not. Give me 1 hour with Lou in the chair, and you'll have the answer.
I don't know. Maybe Alien Girl has a connection to Lou, but I definitely
he won't
can't
come near
even
me.
get
He won't
through
come
that
fucking
door.
near me.
So, They Know Jim says, "I forgot where I heard it. It was just a couple days ago. Scientists of a scientist in what I heard it from. I'm going to look for it." Cool.
Well, let's look for it together because I would like to fucking know. For sure.
UFO Man says, "Great stream."
World stopped spinning or isn't
and
spinning.
He also says he's friends with Lou. UFO Man has a Lou connection.
Yes, you do. And no, like for context, Lou is a good guy. Like it's just I want to get into
the stuff he won't share. Like, you think you can trip him up or something? What?
I don't think I can. I just want to try. That's all. I just want to try, but I you know what? I'm over
Nobody
it.
wants to be put in that position.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and I don't blame him, right? So I don't blame him. But I'm also not knowledgeable enough in all the things that he's accomplished and done to be able to school it. What I'm trying to do is trying to figure out the character. I need to get a good sense,
What the hell did you Google there?
I just went, the world isn't spinning. Well, no, I just trying to see what came up, because if that was a true thing, it would be all over the news.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends. Like scientific articles, if it's that scientific, they don't really. It depends. You got to go look for the right places. But Earth isn't spinning. I don't know if that's the right way. Try saying. I don't know.
No, we checked. It's either there or it's not. But yeah, so I mean, back to the kind of the loose stuff, since we're kind of bringing on point. It's just, for me, I want to have a conversation, because then that's how I kind of trust things. But there's certain things, and and all these other fucking things, it doesn't make any sense. But it really doesn't matter. I'm over it. I don't care. He did enough stuff. Good, move on. But,
well, he's alluded to the fact that he's going to release more information, or that stuff is coming. And
if he does, then that's great. Right?
Yeah, we'll see. I think there's an impatience factor in the community right now with regard to Lou. Like, if he keeps saying that for an extended period of time, people are gonna just forget him and move on and go where people are actually doing good work.
Which isn't a bad thing, and that's what always happens, and it's all part of that too. And that's kind of like things. I've changed my opinion on it mainly because things got heated and then it stopped and then he went away. Because the problems I had was just how he responded to those who were questioning him. He's verbally attacked people. He's caused stress. He's been very aggressive. There are human behaviors that are present.
I agree with that.
So
UFO Man says he has empathetic, I can't say the word.
Emphatically stated that they are here. And here's the thing, is if he's telling the truth, I expected him to not be as degrading and rude and all these other things that he's done. But I mean, I can understand the pressure. I can understand personality and all these other things that come from it. I don't know. But like I said, I'm over it. I don't even care. I don't want to talk to him anymore. Moving on.
They Know Jim says, that's why I'm trying to dig into it. I'm kind of at the top of the ground. I can't go down anywhere. So I think he's referring to the...
Yeah, so Tim, he is selective to what he's doing. So like I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm involved in certain, like, putting out some fires here where there's been, alleged criminal activity and things like that. But I mean, it's out of a, it's emotional driven. So he can be defended and he could be understood as a human being. It's just personally, I wanted to talk about those kind of things to not to trap him, to be completely honest, but to talk about the dirty stuff in a sense to reinforce the human being, because that's what I do. I talk about the human. I study people. I don't study the phenomenon. I study the people and how the phenomenon affects the people. And that's why I'm learning so much about the phenomenon, not through the aliens and the ghosts, by talking to the people. And I thought that if I had him in the chair, then maybe I might be able to show a different side of him that would be beneficial to the movement. That's the truth. As you learn CC, I can do different types of interviews depending on what I'm asked to do.
Yeah, absolutely. You've catered your interviews to the guests in the past for sure. He may talk to you. He says,
Don't worry about it. Don't make it your life's work.
That sounded like a crystal ball saying, or I mean, eight ball.
He also has good enough reasons to be kind of mad too. So just leave it as it is. I'm just saying, for the record, that time has passed. Things have changed. New information has come forward. I served my point. Proved that he's human. He's backed off a little bit, and he could still be right. We just need the answers. Yeah, someone has to know, right? And then if it comes out and it's true, then I take back all the bad things I ever said about anybody who said it was wrong, right? But what do I know? I don't know any more than anyone else does. Just opinions on theories, right? Working with the same facts, trying to figure out what's going on, missing the same information.
Yeah, we just don't need to bash anybody. It's not needed. It's not.
Well, not anymore, but it was part. Remember, last year, the whole idea, what was it? It was to deconstruct last year. We did that.
Yeah.
And this is the rebuild year.
It's been quite a busy year doing that rebuild stuff. And
Yeah. But I had to take out Rutowski. I had to take out. I helped. Helped with a lot of things behind the scenes to expose the ugliness that was there, so people could decide for themselves.
Yeah, that's one thing I liked about your approach. You gave just the info.
Yeah.
And
right?
let people
You
decide.
can't forget that they're human and let the people go. So at least you know the truth. This has happened. Here's the facts. It's not my fault that these things had happened. It's just your fault for doing these things and covering them up and hiding them. And then here you go. Now talk about it. And then shit happens. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
not
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not bashing the work. The work is, I mean, we're all providing a service. What you do, Tim, is a service to ufology. Everyone is in service to the community and to the people, and everyone should be, amended for that. It is a challenge. It is difficult, and we all have opinions, and we all get worked up. But things are so evolving so fast and so quickly that we kind of get caught in it. We had a pandemic too. What else were we focusing on? I think
I
everybody
don't
was.
know. I was kind of disappointed how humanity reacted to the pandemic. We had a lot of great opportunity there. I think I was all excited about the environment bouncing back so quickly. I was like, damn, this is awesome. Dolphins are going in these like river systems they've never been in before. Monkeys are taking over the city. Of
The
course,
Earth is
people
flat.
freak out. Yeah, the Earth is flat.
Don't forget that one.
Yeah, well, I don't know. This just still going on. I don't think it's ending anytime soon.
I think the whole world at that time. That's the other thing too. If we go look back, because in order for me to pinpoint these things to get the information for the information to surface, I suppose, I had to watch things develop and grow over time to see and connect the associations to be able to implement the strategy at the right time so the right thing would happen to get the message across. A lot of calculations, a lot of things, a lot of predictions, but that's studying human behavior, that's studying the pattern, that's studying the characteristics, watching thousands and thousands of hours of this guy and repeating himself and blah, 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 things like that. Like there's things. But it doesn't make Earth is a triangle. Awesome. But that doesn't make him any different than me, doesn't make him any different than us. What I was trying to do is use that as an example to hold the expectation, because it's our fault that he is as famous as he is, because we believed in the idea so much that we wanted it to be true. And then it got to a point where maybe he just tried to hero it, and then the responsibility came too big, and then he crashed. It was too much for him. And then he let it slip, and then became a human, and he stepped back, took a break, which is a normal thing to do. It's hard, and the whole world is kind of suffering at the same time. Now that things have passed and everything is good and kind of moved on, in a sense, if he does come back, as long as it's not like right out there left field fucking bullshit, there's opportunity to accept it, because he spent some time away working on other things. But he's a nobody. And if you compare him to, all the things that he's done and he achieves, but what he's done is he's kept the conversation going. He's made a big enough impact that we're having an ethical debate about it here. He did change a lot of things, whether you like it or hate it. It did start the conversation. And if you focus on, like Amy said earlier, focus on what they did right, not what they did wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
And where I got caught up with Lou was not so much what he's done wrong. It's just seeing all the people fighting back and forth with each other.
That's frustrating.
Over something he said that may or may not be true. So if Lou is telling the truth, then it served a purpose. But if he's fucking lying,
well, who's to say if he's lying that it doesn't serve a purpose too?
Well,
everything has a purpose, but only history will tell how each of us goes down in terms of a legacy. And as long as you walk your path in alignment with yourself, with honor and integrity, and then you really have nothing to lose. but only he really knows if he has those things.
And that's where I'm saying by end of the day, talking to him is not going to satisfy anything unless he needs an apology and he wants me to talk to him. Like other than that, he's non-significant to our mission and our journey right now. That it's something we need to worry about, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, we can't say lies don't have a purpose. Like, everything somebody does, like I said earlier, yeah, people can justify terrible acts, but they can also justify terrible behaviors and terrible, motives, because in their minds it's righteous, it's the right thing. So even, the pathway to heaven is paved with good, or hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's end this tea party and talk about what's going on with Tessa. What's coming on next? What do we got going?
Well, go to the events page. Let's see. So right now I'm still trying to find a guest for next week's show, to be honest. So if anybody's interested, I would really appreciate a help. I'm not getting much responses for.
If nobody is interested, I will gladly take the Thursday off.
Yeah, so we'll see. That might happen. So folks, just stay tuned for that. And then we have Uncharted Case Files on Monday the 25th with Ryan Stacey. So do you want to talk about what your plan is for that?
Did you put that up during the show?
Yes.
That wasn't there before. Okay, yeah. What did you name it?
I just named it what it is, Uncharted Case Files. Oh, like for that?
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to be going over the Royal Canadian Air Force Interrogation Report on Flying Saucers, which is a document from June 21, 1952, where they interviewed a German engineer who is explaining to our Canadian officials how the Germans have flying saucers in the middle of the Cold War. So I'm going to read that and give you guys my opinions on that. That'll be Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah.
Yeah, and then following that, so far we have EA Experiencers Anonymous scheduled for July 30th. The Zoom meeting link is in our events page. That has been changed, so you no longer have to reach out or to register on the website. You simply go into events and grab the link and join in on the day of the meeting at the time specified. You can also add it into your Google Calendar or whatever calendar you use for ease of access of the link on the date of the meeting. And that's with any events that we put on our calendar. You can do that. That option's available now.
Perfect. And then, as we get more programs, we're going to add them to our event calendar and get the old TV guy going. And whatnot too. Cool. Cool. So you mentioned that the timeline wasn't working earlier?
Yeah, I couldn't. Wait, where did you go to get that? Maybe I was just in the wrong spot.
I use the menu bar. Some of the links on the homepage are dead, and I have to fix those.
That one was what I did. So it was a homepage link that was. Yeah. Where did you go though? Investigations, because it doesn't say event time.
Yeah, investigations, evidence, documented event time.
Oh my God, the document event. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the open your eyes section.
Yes. So, anyways, I used the link on the homepage and it didn't work.
Okay, well, it's on my list to fix. Sorry about that, folks. Just use the menu bars for now. But yeah, so this is the timeline. For those of you who don't know, I've indicated, where the country that these documents have come from. There are some American stuff here as well. This is a combination of documents I've collected as well as cases I've investigated. And then this particular episode of Uncharted Case Files goes all the way back down to 1952. Where is it? Down here. and I will be talking about this document right here, June 21st. And I will read this document out loud and explain to you the significance of that. And I will be talking about how all these individuals are connected to that document. So every document that goes into the database not only goes into the timeline, but it also goes into, where is it? Event category visual.
What are you looking for?
Oh, points of interest. So there's a points of interest page.
So we're still getting used to this new website, folks.
Yeah, so every person that's mentioned in any declassified document eventually will have a pattern association, so you see who they are. You'll see what's been mentioned, organizations, information such as such and such, who they work for, all these things. So this is my crazy board, places that are mentioned, all these things here. So as a researcher, this will be a lot easier for you to get information and associate your own facts and come to your own conclusions. But these are vetted out as being credible sources, and everything is verbatim. There's no opinion. So you come to your opinions on your own, and you just look at the data points. And it's also on our visual database. So specifically for declassified documents, if that's what you're looking for. Uncheck all these boxes, and then you see all your declassified documents, and you get to see what's going on there. Click that, and it'll bring you to the documents. So every single document that I go through and retrieve, it'll be up this way. So Alien Girl, if you're watching, these are things that you should be talking about in your show. There's plenty of content for you and your
Canadian
listeners.
content expanded.
Canadian content.
So far, there's some American declassified documents. Is there not?
Yes. No, I'm not focused on that. Focus on Canada for declassified documents.
Okay.
There's the American are, let me show you here, our experiencer reports that we get. So if experiencers make reports, we assist anyone from all over the place. So this is a case specifically from Utah. Actually, there's a video here. So yeah, so you can watch that, and then you can read all about the information and all that other stuff. If you want to do your own investigation, blah blah blah. And then at the end of the year, when I'm done all these cases, if anybody cares, I do an annual data set, and you can view the data set, do your own research there, the 18 pages, or you can purchase the book, get the full 110 page, and see how I came to my conclusions, showed my work, and then you can perhaps learn a thing or two or teach me a thing or two, because I may not, I'm good at a lot of things, but I may not be the best at some things. So I like when people criticize me. I do, because then I learn. Almost, I want people to rip it apart, because then I take their intelligence and be like, and then I fix it, and I correct it, and I correct it, and everything, so it gets perfect. But then I get to this point where it's like, fuck, piss so many people off, and no one's talking to me. So I'm kind of just doing it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But fingers crossed, I have a very, very important meeting tomorrow with a certain someone that I don't think we should mention until it's a fucking big deal.
Hold your cards on this one.
Yep. Very important meeting tomorrow with an American. Why? Because no one else in Canada seems to give a shit.
Well, even when you had Grant Cameron on the show, he admitted he's focused on America, and it's
because America will unlock America has the key to unlock the files. Canada gives these once it over to America. America continues it. So it's preliminary stuff that we have. America's got the answers. So he's focusing on the same mission for the whole entire world, but he just knows where the information is.
Yes, exactly.
So my theory is that because it is being overlooked, and a lot of people know that, and they're just trying to fight the most obvious answer. like going through the back door, I might be able to make kicking in the front door a little easier. That's my theory. May the force be with you and also be with you. Lift up your hearts. And yeah, all those
You can't
things.
see me, but yeah, sure.
I was dinging. A little ding, ding, ding. They know, Jim. They know. Lisa, I'm planning on joining the next EA meeting. Awesome. Good. Good for you. All right, I'm ready for bed because it's festival weekend. Tall ships are here, and we're going to be busy tomorrow and the next day and the whole weekend.
I've got my concert tomorrow. I'm really excited about it, so I'm also ready for bed.
Okay, well, enjoy your concert. Who are you seeing?
Well, the main headliner is Our Lady Peace, which I'm really excited about because it's just nostalgia.
That's
really,
cool.
yeah. So it's kind of an outdoor concert thing.
Cool. Well, have fun. Enjoy that, and then we'll see you on Monday.
Okay. Talk to you, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Good night. Goodbye. I don't know how to end this, but I'm just going to end it. No video. Good night. Peace. Love you. Bye.